right here on ESPN Asheville.
Looking for a career with stability and purpose? NC Department of Adult Correction is hiring correctional officers statewide with a $10,000 sign-on bonus, paid vacation, and benefits. Learn more. Visit dac.nc.gov/cojobs.
Now, sometimes it don't always work for an injury, but it practice makes it perfect.
If you or a loved one have been a victim of crime, the North Carolina Department of Public Safety Office of Victim Compensation Services provides programs to help you find peace of mind. We're here to help you apply for benefits that you may qualify for to recover from hardships such as lost wages and medical expenses. To learn more, visit ncdps.gov/4victims. That's ncdps.gov/4VICTIMS.
Spring is here, and we're kicking things off with Downtown After 5 on April 18th. We're teaming up with Asheville Greenworks for an unforgettable night of live music featuring Caitlin Crisco and The Broadcast, with Dirty French Broads opening the show. Downtown After 5 is a beloved Asheville tradition. With free entry, this event brings Asheville together with great music, local food, drinks, and a vibrant marketplace. Join us at Pack Square Park on April 18th and celebrate downtown Asheville with iHeartMedia Asheville.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
From the Ingalls studio, WPEK Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, W225CJ Candler, the #1 preset in your car, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, GRAND. That's GRAND. Enter it now.
Go to ESPNAVL.com to play, and good luck.
Live from the Ingalls studio.
I can't wait to play.
You got me?
Hey.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog see! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
You couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God. The Jets killed him.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400, coming to you live from the Ingalls studio. We're heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, and we're seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel, so you can join us in the chat. You can see the mullet in the NFLDraft.net mullet manner.
And yes, those are bags under my eyes. Yes, I am very tired. But yes, I am also going to get through this. Is it penultimate? Ultimate? I don't know how that works.
Ultimate. This is the ultimate live show before the draft live shows next week.
We have when I say Tank has not seen the draft guide like in his hands because it's currently with Evan Doyle, who is doing just the Lord's work editing, in some cases, what can only be described as the stark raving ramblings of a sleep-deprived lunatic and making them sound like English words. There's a lot that's going to be in that draft guide.
Mm-hmm.
I did the math. Do you know how many pages this thing is?
Oh, good Lord. Let me guess, it's 427.
345.
That's a lot.
It is 345 pages of NFL draft content.
Wow.
Done by one guy. Mm-hmm. All these other people are like, we did 700 pages. You got a team. I got one dude.
Matt Miller's over here working with 6 dudes. Come on.
Matt Miller does a lot of his work himself. He's the day 3 guy. They're like, Field and Mel need 8 apiece, so you get yourself and your dog.
I saw his latest player ranking was posted this morning on ESPN.com, and Matt Miller has 600 prospects. So take that, Jeremy. You and your 542.
Timothy O'Toole asked, what's the file size on it? So it's PDF. So you can download it anywhere you want. Mm-hmm. It's not compressed. It's very high res. It's very easy to read. Tank actually, he gave me a nice visual tidbit earlier of, hey, colorblind guy, I know you can see this, but it's really hard for those of us that don't have that issue.
Right,
so
don't have weird
you should
brains.
fix that so we can read it too.
That's right. We're putting the final tweaks on it before the release. When is the official release? When are you going to put it out for everybody?
Tuesday.
If
you are a member of the NFLDraft.net Patreon, you will get it on Monday because it will go up on the website then. I have to figure out, and I have somebody on this. I'm not doing it myself. Intern Michaela, also doing the Lord's work right now to make sure that this is the best Draftmas season of all time. Tank, tell the people about the cover of the draft guide.
It's
so
glorious.
Good. Oh, it's so good.
It's absolutely glorious. It's the greatest Draftmas card you've ever seen.
It's so good. It's a picture that we took like 2 years ago, and I went, what the hell am I ever going to use this for?
Found it.
Got it. We have what may be the second biggest super chat we've ever gotten in the history of the show.
Oh, my.
I'm not going to lie to you, and the entire time we've done this show, I think I've only seen that super chat color. There's less fingers on both of my hands than the number of times I've seen that. Red Sea is, I'm sure a lot of people listen to our show and go, hey, that guy's name gets said a lot. That guy, I think he lives in Connecticut. He supports everything we do. He sent me a text at 8:45 this morning where, I'm not going to lie to you, I thought I was hallucinating. Because I wasn't even sure I was still in the world because I was so sleep deprived. He sent me a message this morning asking if I could put out the Cardinals A+ mock draft so he could share it into all of his Cardinal groups. Anybody that is that willing to support a show of people he has never met before, yes, that guy is going to get mentioned a lot on this show because it means a lot. Mm-hmm. So we want to both thank Red Sea, A, for the super chat. That will buy just a slew of cheese curds and cold beers in Wisconsin. And maybe even in Indianapolis because Tank and I are going up a day early.
Right.
So thank you
and he's,
from the bottom of our hearts for the kind words and all your support of this here program.
And he said, in other news, congrats on hitting 6,000. 6,000 subscribers on the YouTube stream, and you can be a subscriber as well. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Click that live video link. When you get through to YouTube, hit subscribe. That's all it takes. And then you get little alerts, and you'll know whenever we're doing stuff. Which we're going to be doing stuff up in Green Bay, Wisconsin next week. We'll be hitting the road early next week, leaving on Monday, trekking up, 2-day trip up to Wisconsin so that we don't have to squeeze it all in one day. We will.
I also had a free.
live.
I also had like a big comp coupon for a condo in Indianapolis, and Tank didn't get to go this year, so I figure we can slide in, have a steak, grab some beers at the Patron Saint, get a little sleep, and then pick up all of the vagrants on the way.
We'll be live from Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, on Thursday and Friday of next week on the ESPN Asheville show. YouTube stream, of course, we'll be live from Radio Row on draft night and all day on Saturday from the Lake House for day 3 of the draft. We'll have our entire crew with us, and by entire crew, I mean not only Jeremy and myself, Jonathan Welch making the trip in from the great Northwest, Zach Hurst, Cowboy Zach Hurst, going to be in making the trip with us, going up to Green Bay, giving the fantasy perspective on the picks that are made. And then David Smith of Armchair Commentary, our favorite Canadan. He's coming back to the States for the it's going to be phenomenal.
Do you realize that we're the only 2 people that don't live on a coast that are involved in our coverage? We have Jonathan Welch on the Pacific coast. We have Zach Hurst on the Atlantic coast, and we have David Smith that lives very close to water somewhere in Canada. I'm not going to lie. Canada confuses the hell out of me. I know they have moosin and they have maple syrup, and Their cops wear weird outfits. I don't understand that country.
Nova Scotia, isn't it? Isn't that where he's from?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. That's way up there.
I know he lives near water, though, because I saw an aerial shot of his house, and it was like, there's my house, and there's water.
Yes.
So we're the only ones that don't live close to water. The only thing we've got is Lake Julian and its seven-eyed fish.
I was going to say, I live right near the lake. So
that's not water.
There's water.
I mean, you can jump in it, but you're gonna come out a very different man than you went in it. So, hey, maybe you would be a real boy's height by the time you got out instead of 5'6".
Oh, one day I'm gonna be a grown boy.
Still only an inch shorter than Nick Martin, though. So, keep throwing him in the third round, Kuiper. I'm a little confused, but okay, maybe you're seeing something I'm not.
Yeah. Today on the program, we're going to treat this as the cram session right before we take off for the draft. Jeremy has decided that, we've just got so much to do, so much to catch up on, that we will be taking a hiatus from the show for the rest of the week after today.
But it's just the live shows. There will still be...
It's just the ESPN live shows. We'll still have content coming out on the YouTube stream.
And let's face it, this is just Jeremy being honest about Jeremy. Yesterday, I said that an NFL draft prospect could have a vagrant stuffed inside a dead hooker, and I didn't realize what I had said for 5 seconds.
He's really doing us all a favor.
For sure. I am dangerous at this point.
We will have the final Flostradamus mock draft for you. 3 rounds, Monday and Tuesday of next week. We will be off tomorrow and preempted by Braves coverage anyway, so that's one less day that we're, quote-unquote, off.
And we would have also been off Tuesday. Friday for Easter as well. So we're really only taking one day off.
True. Monday, Tuesday of next week will be the final Sportsocracy at ESPN Draft Nerd 3-round mock draft. We will have Braves on ESPN on Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday again we will be live from Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, just north of Green Bay, Wisconsin, where we will be on the Ingles Living the Dream Tour for the 2025 NFL Draft. And today is the cram session. We're going to kind of do mop-up duty today. Names that haven't been said that much. We're not going to keep focusing on the same names over and over again because we know we're all sick and tired of having the Cam Ward debate once again. Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, we've beat those horses to death.
The Shedeur horse?
Hey,
that horse is glue at this point. We've beaten that thing it doesn't even have hooves anymore.
No. This is kind of a, hey, what happened to that guy? I remember his name, but we haven't talked about him much throughout the process here. We'll catch up on all of that throughout today's program. Yesterday, the news came out that we will have 17 players in the green room for the first round of the draft on Thursday night. Of course, the headliner, Cam Ward, the expected number 1 overall pick, he will be there. Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter and Ashton Gianti and Will Campbell and Mason Graham, all those names that we've talked about inside the top, 10 picks of the draft, those guys are going to be there. Shedeur won't be there, which, shoot, shucksy doodles. What will we do without Shedeur Sanders being in Green Bay, Wisconsin? But we will have 2 other quarterbacks there. Jackson Dart's going, and Jalen Milroe's going. Yesterday, when we did the mock draft Monday, the community mock draft, Jalen Milroe ended up going in the first round to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let's start there, Jeremy, for today. The cram session, will there be 4 quarterbacks in the first round?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what was told of. I don't know exactly where I fall in the list of draft nerds in this country, but I know I'm much higher than I used to be. So I'm involved in conversations that I ain't never been involved in before. Here's what the NFL told me 3 months ago. We only are going to invite guys to this draft that we have been told will go in the first round. There are 2 names on that list that I'm not going to lie to you, I had heard they were both invited. Their agents had said it to people I know, and I still didn't believe it until I saw it. It was so bad with Milroe that my brain did not see his name the first time I saw the list. I sent out a tweet to our Discord that said, no Jalen Milroe at the draft. Oh, wait, there he is. I missed it. My brain didn't want to read it. Him and Tyler Booker both are odd. Booker, I'm less surprised because guard is so bad. And there are so many teams that need a guard. I could see him sliding into the first round, whether he should be or not. Milroe's the one I keep coming back to going, how is that a thing? How does anybody look at Jalen Milroe and go, yep, I'm going to draft that, let alone draft it on night 1?
It's the athleticism. Can't let go of it. What could be sticks out in somebody's mind in the league, apparently. Maybe it's Mike Tomlin. Maybe that's the assurance that is out there. I don't know. Does it go that deep? It goes that deep where teams are like, hey, you should invite this guy because we're going to pick him. Do they do that? Somebody inside the office gets that heads up?
Well, the way that it works from what I've been told is that basically they send out feelers to every NFL team. Mm-hmm. Give us the guys that you are considering taking. We're basically going to do it as a great big pool. And the guys that are on the high side are the ones that we're going to invite. Because they do not want somebody sitting around for a long time. And that tells me Milroe's going higher than we think. Now, do I think he's going in the first round? I can't make my mouth say those words. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like when I had to say President Joe Biden. My mouth, I knew all 3 of those words. And my mouth did not want to say it. Ever.
Did not want to put them together.
It's kind of in the same boat. I don't understand how any evaluator watches that tape. I swear to you, what was that stupid movie that Sandra Bullock was in a few years ago? That like they looked outside and they turned to stone or something. Bird Box?
Oh, you're talking about the Bird Box movie.
Bird Box.
Yeah.
All right, so there was a scene where they hold the old guy's eyes open and make him stare out the window. Anybody that tells me Jalen Milroe's a first-round prospect, I want to put his tape on the big screen in the mullet cave and make you watch that Vanderbilt tape. And I'm telling you, blood's going to come out of your eyes because it is as bad as I've ever seen. I swear to you, Stevie Wonder could have been playing quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide. He would have been no worse than Jalen Milroe. I mean, he might have thrown it behind himself a few times, but he would not have thrown that interception on the sideline in the first quarter. There's not a quarterback on this planet that would have thrown that ball, including but not limited to the starting quarterback of your local under-8 Pee Wee League would not have thrown that ball. I don't know what people are seeing. I have no idea. If you told me we were having a draft that you could only draft quarterbacks whose last name rhymed with Lilro, I still don't think I would find a way to take him in the first round.
We got a super chat. For Milroe, so their Madden team is going to be unstoppable.
Oh yeah, that would be. You want to really screw up Tank's drive home? Give me Armin Mimbu and Jalen Milroe to the Jets, and then make him listen to me for 13 hours in a truck on the way back from Wisconsin to North Carolina.
Please no. I don't need that in my life.
Oh,
at all.
You would be doing 140 in the Parks Ford Mobile Studio, just going, I'll pay the ticket. I don't even care.
Get
me out of this truck.
Here. Jalen Milroe and Justin Fields going to tear it up for the New York Jets. That's exactly what 2025 needs to give us. Not Jeremy. It's not what he needs.
Just the thought of that
the rest of us need.
That was enough that the breakfast burrito almost made a reappearance. Right. Not good.
It only takes one. It only takes one team to look at Jalen Milroe and go, that's our guy. He is an elite quarterback, or he can be an elite quarterback in this league. And it's baffling to me to think that many teams would put him down. Like, if that is how they do it, if they test around or they ask the teams to make a list, and he wound up, that means he would wound up on more than just one team's list to be invited. That's kind of crazy to me.
Well, I mean, you got to realize they've done this way for quite some time. And so they're batting pretty high percentage of not leaving guys in the room for that long. I think Terry and Arnold was the last one to get drafted last year, and he went on night one. There was nobody left in the green room. That part I do remember, because we walked by the green room on the way back to the car, and there was nothing there. It was completely vacant.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM at 1400. 4 quarterbacks could go in the first round of the draft. Shedeur Sanders, I believe, is definitely going in the first round. I feel that's pretty safe to say. And there are 3 quarterbacks that will be in the green room next week in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We'll be right back. Continue Cram Day here in the Sportsocracy.
The quest to regain the
clear
starts now. So
are we still planning on recording
the Braves 2025
season? First pitch for right side. Diving stop by Ozzie. Got him. Whoa,
House of Reprehensibles members tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Asheville.
We should probably announce that to give people a chance to get into the House of Reprehensibles.
Gone. Home run, Ozuna. Join us for Atlanta Braves baseball all season.
We can do that.
I should probably also download the House of Reprehensibles logo.
Here's comedian Howie Mandel
is on my
hands-free
computer
Cozy
somewhere.
Fit Skechers
This will be
slip-ins.
fun.
Yeah, I'm holding a new Cozy Fit Skechers slip-in sneaker, and first of all, I barely know I'm holding it. It's that light. You see, Cozy Fit is a cool new sneaker where the upper is made of a soft quilted material. It's kind of like a little puffer jacket for your feet, except it looks like a super stylish sneaker.
Introducing new Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins, the latest comfort creation from Skechers. You can find Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like Alt 2K. A commercial-free look back to alternative from the 2000s. It just takes some time, little girl in the middle of the ride. With Foo Fighters, Weezer, Linkin Park, Green Day, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and more. Just open the free iHeartRadio app, search Alt 2K, and make it your next preset.
iHeartRadio. The iHeartRadio app now has presets, just like in the car. You're our number one. Make us yours. ESPN Asheville, the mountain's favorite sports station, streaming 24/7. Your home for the Sportsocracy. Weekdays at noon. The Tar Heels and Atlanta Braves baseball.
When the springtime flowers are in bloom and the morning songbirds begin to greet you each morning, you know that the magic of Easter is right around the corner. Easter magic begins at Ingalls.
Buying or selling a home doesn't have to be stressful. Let me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your local real estate expert, guide you every step of the way. Whether you're searching for your dream home, looking to sell quickly.
Didn't you tell me Mel Kiper had Trey Amos in the 3rd round in one draft?
Do the best deal possible.
He's in his
Call
first
me,
round now.
Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty.
I was going to say.
8.
I was just looking at the one that they did with him and Field Yates.
Real estate.
And Kiper was the one that took him at 30.
Dreams come true.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, we found out a lot of things about our community. We saw neighbors helping neighbors, and we learned in desperate times one of the best things to have around is a redneck with a chainsaw.
Not just a chainsaw, boy, just country boys in general. When you live in these mountains, you figure it out. Like, you make stuff happen.
After answering the calls for help that they heard on the radio, the Chainsaw Brothers are still here, making it happen. the right way. Fair, insured, and local. Need tree help? Call the Chainsaw Brothers. 316-1013. 316-1013.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville, introducing you to this month's Parks Community Heroes, Corey and Kristen Short and the entire team at Silverados, who converted their music venue
is this the last commercial?
Into a donation and distribution zone.
Yes, sir.
Hurricane Helene. Corey and his team founded Valley Strong Disaster Relief, dedicated to providing essential support to our neighbors in need. Nominate your Parks Community Hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumping a bag of hammers.
The NFL Draft is right around the corner. 9 days until the start of the draft. Next Thursday, Green Bay, Wisconsin, the Eagles Living the Dream Tour will ride again. The Parks Ford of Hendersonville mobile studio will take us up to Sturgeon Bay. Excited to see a new part of the world. Been discovering a whole bunch of new things on this trip.
How many states have you seen on this tour that you had never seen before?
Well, there's Indiana, Michigan, obviously. Had never been to Detroit before. I think that's it. The rest of it, we've stayed around South Carolina, Georgia. You know, seen some things I'd never seen before.
The beauty of this has been I've gotten to see cities that I've only seen their airport.
Yeah, that's a good one. You know, had never been before this Eagles Living the Dream Tour, had never been to a game at the Benz Dome down in Atlanta. And now we've been to a couple. And never seen a game down at Williams-Brice in South Carolina. We were down there for the LSU South Carolina game. Probably still the highlight of the year for me, anyway. And that's after going to Atlanta and watching my team just frog stomp the Clemson Tigers in the opener. I think I still had more fun at the South Carolina game. I mean, yeah. At Indianapolis, had never been there before. Had never been to Detroit. Obviously, I've never been to Wisconsin, so interested to check that out. It's gonna be fun.
Well, I mean, and this is a great time for us to say a resounding thank you to the three primary sponsors of this show that made that whole tour possible. We can't tell you everything yet. You will be learning things over the summer that, well, this past year has been the greatest year of growth professionally for me and I believe for Tank. Tank had two sides of it. He was doing it in sports and in politics. Right. He might be the mayor of radio by the time this is all said and done.
You never know.
But Ingles Supermarkets, Parks Ford Hendersonville, and Clarissa Sells WNC.com. This whole tour was a brainchild of theirs. And we fully intend on doing some version of this next year. We're just not exactly sure what it's going to look like. I've had a blast doing this. Obviously, we had a flood in the middle of it that wasn't good, and it did derail some things. But we got to see a lot of the coolest stuff in sports, and it was thanks, in large part, to those three groups of people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the support that you guys give every day, we couldn't do it without you. We also couldn't do it if we were fitting the bill for it out of our own pockets. And Ingles and Parks Ford and Clarissa Hyatt have just been unbelievably good to us. And any opportunity I get to say a thank you to them, I will always take. Absolutely. You believed in us when there was really no reason to believe in us. Especially me. I was a nobody. And all three of those groups believed greatly in me for some reason. And Tank, that made a lot more sense. He had been on the radio. He had been out in front of people and not said dirty words. I had never really done that. So,
right. We couldn't do it without our great partners. We couldn't do it without our great listeners. And and we'll keep doing it.
Well, it's very cathartic.
The whole
go ahead.
The reason we called this the tour, the Live in the Dream tour, was not just because it was going to give us a chance to see things that we'd never seen before or go places that we had never been before. It was more of a statement about this entire project, this love of ours that we've been, growing over the last 5 years since right before the pandemic began.
Don't be humble
it's
there.
all
You've been growing this for how long did you do that show without me? So,
well, I did it for a while.
That time still counts.
But it was always just hey, this is a cool thing I get to do on the weekends. It was never a serious push of maybe we should try to make something out of this. Maybe we should try to, get people to invest in us and that kind of thing. It never became that until 2020. And it's been quite the journey. And I'll be honest with you, when we started it out 5 years ago, if you'd have walked in and said, hey, in the next 5 years, you guys are going to be live from the NFL draft on Radio Row, sponsored or endorsed or whatever you want to say, certified by the NFL to be there, I would have told you were crazy. So it's amazing what things can happen over the years, and a little bit of dedication on our part, a whole lot of belief in the part of our partners, not only here at iHeartRadio, but in our sponsors as well, Ingalls, Clarissa, and Parks Ford of Hendersonville, now Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue. It's a joy to be able to come and do this every day. It's a joy to be able to, just cut it up on the radio and talk sports, the thing that we love to do every day. And the fact that we've been able to do all of these cool things, and we have people that believe in us, and we have people that listen to us every day, it continues to just blow my mind over and over and over again. It's the greatest part of my day, is coming in here and being able to talk with y'all. So we do thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all of it. We'll continue with the draft coverage coming up next here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
ESPN Asheville.
Clear.
Thank you.
Your mountain weather forecast.
Winds gusting with a wind advisory this afternoon. Winds could gust 40 to 45 miles per hour. Get some sunshine, though, 60 degrees. Tonight, a colder night. Runs through. Clear sky, 40. Some spots in the 30s. And with that breeze around tomorrow morning, it could be a heavier jacket. Sunny and breezy in the afternoon, 60. Thursday, a lot better. Sunny, 70. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Springfest at Lowe's means can't miss savings for your home and lawn. Right now, buy 3 bags, get 3 free on Miracle Grow 0.75 cubic feet all-purpose garden soil. Valid through 4/16. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular
boobs.
Deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you? I just wanted to request a late checkout, please. Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours. Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours. Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
The new iHeart app just looks better.
The best feature of a car radio on the app.
It's the presets.
Super easy.
And thank you for keeping it free.
Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio.
Looking to buy or sell in Western North Carolina? At Clarissa Sells WN.
Oh, you got outside?
The #1 real estate team in Buncombe County, selling over 100 homes in 2024. We represent both buyers and sellers, and with a personalized approach to meet your needs.
At Clarissa Sells WNC, real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. Call me today. Clarissa Marshall.
It would help if I could type into the right keyboard.
6343. When it comes to real estate, we're here for what matters most.
Yes, sir. Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in Asheville has two things that all Sportsocracy fans crave. Bold
What
flavors,
is your outside
big
story?
portions. Oh, yeah. And they've got a new sport coming from California. Mac and cheese, pulled pork, cornbread, and deep fried, and then topped with bacon and cheese sauce. This is the place to be. Live music on Saturdays and the first Sunday of every month. They partner with the Guitar Bar to host Mr. Jimmy's Barbecue Blues. Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville and South Asheville.
Welcome to Harvest Farms, where the best organic or natural products are waiting for you, where the fields are filled with flavorful delights, and every bite is backed with the highest quality and attention. This is a place of affordable organic adventure, where freshness reigns supreme, that can only be found at Ingles. Harvest Farms Organics. You'll love what's inside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
It is ESPN Asheville, the Sportsocracy, coming to you live from the Ingles studio and the NFLDraft.net. Mullet Manor. I don't know that we needed a new sport.
We didn't.
But,
without even knowing where you're
sounds
going with
like-
this, we didn't.
It sounds like we're getting one. It sounds like we're getting a new sport. And it is a one of a kind. So, Jeremy, you know how Major League Baseball on Father's Day, everybody wears blue, right? All the players wear blue. It's the big prostate cancer game, right? They do this, football for cancer for October. They do the crucial catch thing. Used to be just pink, but now they do all of the cancers, I think, with the crucial catch thing. It's all about raising awareness for medical reasons. Correct?
Correct.
Well, there's a company in California that has come up with an idea to raise awareness for another growing problem in America, which is the decline in fertility rates among men, apparently, are just plummeting year after year after year. And so a group of guys have gotten together. It looks like they're all tech dudes. 4 men behind the idea. There's one guy that's been with Thor Ventures. You may have heard of that before.
I enjoyed watching him take on his brother Loki.
not the Adventures of Thor. This is Thor Ventures. It's like a startup company kind of thing. There's another guy who is big in cryptocurrency. Another guy who worked with the Mr. Beast team, so he's like a social media guy, I guess. And these guys have all gotten together. And they have created sperm racing. Yep, you heard me right. I didn't make it up. I'm not just using this as a story to titillate. This is an actual thing. These guys have raised over $1 million, they say, and they have the technology to be able to give us a microscopic racetrack for 2 samples to compete on. And they could live stream it, and they could put it on television, and they could do play-by-play, and they could do weigh-ins. I'm not kidding you. There's a direct quote from one of the guys that has organized all of this. He said, think of it as any other sport. There will be weigh-ins, there will be training, there will be betting.
So, all right, so this is, they think they're solving a problem for male fertility rates. They still haven't solved the biggest problem for all of the nerdiness that they're doing here. You still have to find a woman that wants to have sex with you. That's why your fertility rate's gone down. I mean, look, if you're just trying to race by yourself, I mean, I think you losers have been doing that for my entire life.
It's the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever heard. If it works, if it solves the problem, or not solves the problem, but if it serves the purpose of raising awareness and generating money for cancer research or whatever, fertility research, I don't know. good luck to you. But the first time somebody comes to me and says, hey, did you check out the sperm race this weekend? I may just cash it in. That may be the day I just quit life and society and just go live in the cave somewhere.
Okay, look,
we've got this too much.
I can answer the why. Look, there are some people that can't have children. It's very sad. You have to go through all the processes. I'm not talking about you. You're talking about the level of male fertility has gone down over the years. I, for the cost of $8 can explain that to you. When I was 18 years old, we were drinking Miller Lights in the woods. You're eating Tide Pods in your safe space. Problem solved. Where is my check? That's a thing called evolution because we don't necessarily need a whole lot more of you.
Mm-hmm.
My story is, oddly enough, shockingly enough, about the NFL draft. Are you stunned? I'm not, because right now it's about the only thing I know. There is a claim going around right now, and I'm not here to debunk it because I can tell you that he said it. I just don't know that he said it to the question that was specifically being rumored to have been asked. It's about Travis Hunter. This was sent to me by Soaring Eagle, and I also found it on Outkick from our buddy Clay Travis. According to Garrett Podal of CBS Sports, Travis Hunter has informed teams that he would rather quit football altogether than choose between playing one position. Here's the quote. It's never playing football again because I've been doing it my whole life and I love being on the football field. I feel like I could dominate on each side of the ball, so I really enjoy doing it. The assertion is that the question was, would you rather pick one side or just quit altogether? And his answer was quit altogether. He also said at the end of that no team had a problem with him playing both sides of the ball. I can confirm that's a lie.
But
it may not be a lie for you because they may not have said it to Travis Hunter. I tell you, for 100%, I am as sure of this as I am that there's a big old beak on the front of my face. There are teams that have a problem with it. Big problem with it.
But the question is, did anybody say that to him?
Because to him, probably not.
Room, right, when he gets in that room, and I said this yesterday on the show, he is the guy, to me, and this confirms it for me, that will demand to play on both sides of the ball. And when he goes into these meetings with these GMs, and if they had a question about it, right? Like, if you had to pick, do the gun to your head argument, you had to pick, which side would you play on? Both. I will quit, or I play both. And at that point, the GM has their answer. They don't have to say anything. They know, okay, well, he's off the board for me. Like if what you were saying about Cleveland and Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry is true, that we would only use him as a wide receiver.
That's what was said at the Combine.
Right, so if that is the truth, then they know. They don't have to go any further. We can spend our right. Like, I guess, are you on a clock when you do that? Like, is it like, is there like a little clock in the corner that says, okay, you only have 5 minutes for this meeting at the Combine? Is that how that works? I don't even know.
What are you talking about? When they come to the podium?
Like, no. Like when you have your meetings with the GMs at the Combine, we know they have 15 minutes meetings set up. You have 15 minutes.
You have 15 minutes.
So
you go into a room. They can ask you anything you want. I have now been in that room twice. I've been in a couple of those rooms, and I'm not gonna lie to you, they are intense because they sit you down almost like they're questioning you on a crime, and it is slightly bizarre.
Oh, yeah, I got to put your feet to the fire. I got to know if you're going to be capable, especially if I'm spending a high draft pick on you. I am grilling you. I'm taking FBI interrogation courses to make sure that I'm picking a guy who can hold up under the pressure, who can say the right things. If I'm drafting you to be the face of my franchise, as I would be for a guy like Travis Hunter, of course.
This
I'm
is the reason.
The toughest questions I possibly can. Now, I don't know if I'm going to, call your mom a prostitute like somebody did one time.
That was the Miami Dolphins, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. What was that guy's name?
Des Bryant.
I can't remember. No. I know it was Des Bryant, but was it Ireland? Was it Jeff Ireland?
Oh, I don't remember which guy in the front office it was.
Yeah, it was one of them. Anyway, I know my answer. If he says I'm playing on both sides of the ball, regardless of what you say, then I know he's not my guy, and I can move on, and I don't have to say that to him. So I'm not going to call him a liar. He should know that, though. I mean, he should. I'm sure his agent has probably said, well, Cleveland's off the board because they don't want you to play cornerback. I know he's heard that from his agent.
See, this is why I'll never be front-facing as like a GM or anything like that. I'll be if I ever do work for a team, I'll be hiding out in the back as the scout that they don't let talk to anybody. Because I would ask my first question, if you were entered into the Vinegar Strokes 500, how would you train yourself to make sure that your swimmers were at top athletic fitness? What does that regiment look like, young man?
We have to know. We need to know. America has a right to know. Oh, good Lord. All right, today, cram day here in the sports.
Gambit fans, it's a lot of hip work. See, it's a lot of hip work if this wasn't a solo venture.
This is going no place good.
I think it's a lot of curls, personally, but that's just me.
Most definitely. So you get a hip flexor.
For sure. If you're getting a hip flexor in that particular race, you are doing it wrong.
Just creative. Got moves you've never seen. Let's talk about some of the players that we have not talked about throughout the process of the run-up to the NFL draft here. The draft does get underway in Green Bay, Wisconsin in just under a week. We're 9 days away next Thursday, and we will be there. How about let's play a little game of what happened to this guy? Let's start at quarterback and go Riley Leonard. I haven't heard much about Riley throughout the process of all of this. I felt like he was picking up a little steam at the end of the year last year with Notre Dame. But throughout the process, I haven't really heard his name mentioned at all. Is he on the radar to be drafted?
Well, Tank, I'm an analogy guy, so I'm going to give you an analogy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If you were applying to be a jockey in the Kentucky Derby, what's the first thing I'm going to ask you if you know how to do?
Ride a horse.
Ride a horse. If you're applying to be a quarterback in the NFL, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, can you throw a football? And his answer is, not really. So that's what happened to him, is that people watched the tape and went, good golly, Miss Molly. People would win that 500 we were just talking about before he got that ball out of his hand.
But the same thing exists for Jalen Milroe, and he's going to get drafted in the first round.
Yeah, but Jalen Milroe runs a 4.38. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. If you're applying to be a jockey and you can run with the horse, okay, maybe we can talk about this, the fact that you can't ride a horse. Maybe you can outrun the horse. I do not know. Maybe they'll let you do that. I don't know. Riley Leonard can do none of those things. Riley Leonard is a fullback that throws sometimes. Look, in the draft guide, you'll see all of my player rankings. They go really deep. This is not a quarterback class that goes really deep. I'm going to be honest with you. If you get past 13 names, I'm really going to need you to elaborate on 14.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's that Elgersma kid that was at the Senior Bowl that Bill Workman, Kent Briggs, and I were just looking at each other going, how the hell is that the sixth best quarterback in America right now? Like, that's the sixth best kid you could get here? Who was 8? Was Jim Abbott 8? Because this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That was a baseball reference and everything. I might be tired, but I'm on it, boys. I am on it.
I love it. So good. So Riley Leonard, he's if you had to guess, he's not going to be drafted.
He might go in the 7th round. Quarterbacks are really likely to go in that 7th round because they don't want to deal with bonus structure. Because a lot of these quarterbacks come in with, I want $50,000 guaranteed to show up at camp. I want to be 3 inches taller and date a Spice Girl, but that's not in the it's not in the cards, Riley.
Right.
He's a good look. Riley's a good kid to have in the room. The problem is if he ever sets foot on your football field, you are in trouble. I have a feeling there's another quarterback you're going to ask me about too.
I am. I mean, you obviously quarterbacks get talked about more than any other quarterback, and we don't have to go super deep on the quarterback position because we know not all these guys are going to get drafted. But guys in this class include Grayson McCall and Peyton Thorne.
Well, Peyton Thorne fell victim to DNP bad.
Graham Mertz and JT Daniels. Like, these are all names that we remember pretty well from their time in college. For KJ Jefferson.
You obviously don't remember JT Daniels all that well because he was in last year's draft.
Was he? Yeah. Is this a new JT Daniels?
No. You found that on NFL Draft Buzz because he's on their website.
I think so.
And I keep looking at it going, well, that's funny because I ran into him at the Senior Bowl last year. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's not in this draft class.
My bad. I thought, okay.
No, he transferred to Rice.
I don't even remember him being in last year's class.
That's because zero people considered drafting him.
Right, there again, playing into, you may know these names if you pay attention to college football, but when it comes to the NFL, they ain't hitting on much.
Grayson McCall will probably be – he might be a camp arm. I'll be honest with you, I thought he applied for another year of eligibility. I could be wrong on that. Graham Mertz has a legit shot of being drafted. That wouldn't stun me at all. Who was the other one you said? There was another name when I was making fun of JT Daniels.
Who was it? Peyton Thorne was in that list, and DJ.
DJ Uiagalelei. DJ Uiagalelei would be an undrafted free agent in the – oh, good God, how deep can I go here? The CFL and the UFL, they would laugh. Like, there's no way we're drafting DJ Uiagalelei. If the Buncombe County YMCA had a draft, DJ Uiagalelei would have a shot being the quarterback of the 8th team in that league. Oh, don't believe me? Go watch that Florida State tape. There were times I actively thought, you have an active bet against Florida State right now. That's the only explanation for being this terrible. You still haven't asked the name that I thought you were going to ask, though.
And which one is that?
Dylan Gabriel.
Well, yeah, that's what we had a wonderful little tidbit from Tony Dungy, who was participating in a mock draft on some podcast, I guess it was. I don't think it was on CBS, but I think it was on a podcast. And he was given the task of drafting the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 21. And he took Dylan Gabriel, and that led to a lot of people going, what are you smoking? Maybe he could be a quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers if they drafted him in the 3rd round, not the 1st.
That was a funny way to say the 7th. This is a really good
He's
time.
Going higher than that.
This is a really good time to explain that just because you're good at football or just because you're good at coaching football does not mean you're good at procuring talent. Because Dylan Gabriel is 3 inches shorter than Tank. I saw a picture of him at the Oregon Pro Day, which obviously I was not at, but I did see a picture from it, with Justin Herbert, Bo Nix, and Dylan Gabriel. And I swear to you, there was part of me that thought they could take – no good can come from where I'm headed with this. He looked like a little kid holding both his dad's hands. Like, just – this is an 8-year-old child that is walking down the beach with his parents. And I laughed and laughed and laughed, and then he shared it. And I went, you realize this is not good for you, right? Like, it's like Tank standing in between me and David Smith. This does not make you look taller. This makes you look shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that says they draft Dillon Gabriel in the first 3 rounds, you are – I honestly hope you have a recreational drug habit. Because outside of that, you're just a damn lunatic. There's nothing there. Arm's not strong enough. Okay, he's accurate, and he put up stats in gimmicky offenses in college. Who cares? The difference between him and what was that kid's name? Mackenzie Milton. The difference in those two is negligible at best. I do not have a draftable grade on Dillon Gabriel. He's not even a priority undrafted free agent for me.
However, he keeps getting the Bo Nix comp,
which is that's dumb.
And that's
because they both played at Oregon and they're accurate.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Bo Nix is 5 inches taller than Dillon Gabriel, and he's not a real tall guy. And by the way, he's more athletic than Dillon Gabriel too.
Right.
Gabriel's just one of those guys. Look, there are certain guys that are college football good. Tim Tebow, he was college football good. He was NFL terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Dillon Gabriel's going to be in the same boat.
Good was an understatement. He was college football god. Tim Tebow was a dog. But at the next level, not so much. Last one I wanted to ask you about real quick before the break here, Kyle McCord.
Kyle McCord will go – he could go late day 2. It depends on how desperate people get for quarterbacks. We have a super chat that steers into this if you want to find the button while I'm saying this. McCord is almost universally – I have not seen a ranking from anybody I trust that doesn't go Cam 1, Dart, Shador, Shuck, pretty close 2, 3, 4. McCord is 5 on a lot of boards. I think McCord will either go late in day 2 or super early in day 3.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get that.
Graham Mertz could be drafted. Good God, that's bad. Yep, that's how bad this quarterback class is. I will almost guarantee you Curtis Rourke gets drafted if that tells you anything. Mm-hmm. I'm only really confident that there are maybe 8 or 9 quarterbacks in this entire class that get selected. The 5 I said, Jalen Milroe, Seth Hennigan that I saw Detroit Fan Man asked about. There were a lot of people that really liked him in Mobile. I could see him going as high as late in the 5. From there, Quinn Ewers. I left that one out too. Because it seems like 3 teams love him and the other 29 teams are going, you should love him more. Because it'll make up for how bad we don't.
Detroit Fan Man wants to know, Seth Hennigan, is he the next Kyle Allen?
He could be. I think he'll play in the league for a while. He was a fun kid. He had a great time at the Senior Bowl. I thought he had a good week at the Senior Bowl. That's enough to probably just get him drafted. David L. asked, would Dillon Gabriel be a fit with the Miami Dolphins? He would be a fit in the system. The problem is, where's he ever going to play? Like, if he ever touches the field, how at 5'10" and some change is he even going to see over the line, let alone get the ball out? Because he does not have a really nice over-the-top throwing motion. So, to me, he's a camp arm and a P squad guy, if that.
NFL Draft Cram Day continues here in the Sportsocracy after the top of the hour here. Who are the guys that we haven't really talked a whole lot about throughout the process? Names that you may have forgotten, wondering where they're going to end up. Maybe they end up with your favorite team. We'll continue after this.
ESPN Asheville.
Clear.
Thank you.
Your mountain weather forecast.
Winds gusting with a wind advisory this afternoon. Winds could gust 40 to 45 miles per hour. Get some sunshine, though, 60 degrees. Tonight, a colder night. Runs through. Clear sky, 40. Some spots in the 30s. And with that breeze around tomorrow morning, it could be a heavier jacket. Sunny and breezy in the afternoon, 60. Thursday, a lot better. Sunny, 70. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Appalachian Sitework.
If you need quality concrete with a personal touch, then choose Appalachian Sitework and their Ready Mix division. Reliable, high-quality concrete for all of your projects. Serving Waynesville and the surrounding area, you can visit them online at appsiteinc.com for more information.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
The Spring into Performance event is here at Appletree Acura. Take advantage of unbelievable offers. Spring into action with Appletree Acura because these savings won't last long. Appletree Acura, Western North Carolina's local Acura dealer and home of the Appletree Advantage. I-26 Airport Road, Asheville.
Looking to buy or sell in Asheville? At Clarissa Sells WNC with eXp Realty, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County. Give us a call, 828-774-6343. We're here for what matters most, you.
At Ingles, we know that fresh means local. The best ingredients don't come from a world away. They come from your own backyard. From the farms we support, to the stores we love, to the tables you treasure. Ingles, we're with you every step of the way.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks Community heroes. Like Trent and Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies and drive to the areas that were hardest hit in those first hours. Like Spencer, who helped build a bridge out of debris to rescue 7 families after the road was washed away. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, we found out a lot of things about our community. We saw neighbors helping neighbors, and we learned in desperate times one of the best things to have around is a redneck with a chainsaw.
Not just a chainsaw, boy, just country boys in general. When you live in these mountains, you figure it out. Like, you make stuff happen.
After answering the calls for help that they heard on the radio, the Chainsaw Brothers are still here, making it happen the right way. Fair, insured, and local. Need tree help? Call the Chainsaw Brothers. 316-1013. 316-1013.
Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports have teamed up under a new local owner to serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports can customize whatever you, your team, or your local group may need with high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving. Visit mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com. That's mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com for your local one-stop custom apparel shops.
From the Ingles studio, WPEK Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, W225CJ Candler, the #1 preset in your car, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, check. That's check. Enter it now.
Go to ESPNAVL.com to play, and good luck.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingles studio.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app, and we're seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link. That way you can subscribe to the channel. You can join us in the chat. You can join more than 6,000 subscribers that we have on YouTube, and you can comment on the show.
I can't believe there's 6,000 people that can tolerate us, let alone would seek out our opinions on anything. And I guarantee every time we say that, there's somebody in Asheville that just hates me. That's like, I can't believe 6 people would listen to that idiot. We love you, Jeff. You'd really MVP. We know you still listen. Yeah, here's the thing. You know what the great thing about talking smack about somebody on Reddit is? All I have to do is Google my name. So there's that.
That there is.
That dude just dude in his pants like, oh my God, he knows. Yeah, I do. I also don't care.
No, we're 9 days away from the start of the 2025 NFL Draft, and the Ingles Living the Dream Tour will be there. Jeremy, myself, Cowboy Zach Hurst, Jonathan Welch, and David Smith of Armchair Commentary. We're going to have a 5-man crew covering the draft in Wisconsin next week. We will be live here on the radio show on Thursday and Friday from Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, live from the Lake House. YouTube coverage on draft night, live from Radio Row in Green Bay. All day, day 3 on Saturday, we'll be back at the Lake House in Lake Sturgeon. So
this is also a good time to say that my draft profiles, I am doing full draft profiles on my top 150 players. As soon as they are selected, you will be able to see that. It goes live as soon as they're selected with the team that selected them. So if you don't have time to sit and watch our tomfoolery for, how long is that going to be? 17 hours of live draftmas coverage. You can see what I think about the new players on your team in real time.
It's a whole lot coming your way in the Sportsocracy tomorrow on the YouTube stream. If you are a member of the House of Reprehensibles, you will have access to a special live stream as we will be doing Jeremy's final 3-round mock draft, which will only be heard live by the House of Reprehensibles. So, again, go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, go to YouTube, subscribe, and after you subscribe, there's a little button that says join, and you can join the House of Reprehensibles, get access to tomorrow's live mock draft. You will have a chance to hear the mock draft next week, early next week on Monday and Tuesday, our travel days for the Sportsocracy. We will play that back for you with the holiday coming up this weekend and everything. We're piecing it all together. Okay.
Well, let's put it this way.
Piecing it all together.
I did the math. From 8 a.m. Monday morning, I will work over 100 hours in 6 days.
It's gonna be fun.
So, and I'm very excited. Very excited for all of you to see the draft guide. This weekend, we will also do the final Walk the Mock live mock draft. So if you want to be involved in that, that'll be a live stream. If Tank can jump into it, great. If not, it will be with me. During that, I will be recording 7-round mock drafts for every team. So we will do it as we have done before. The first couple rounds will be live, and we're talking trades and all of those things. Then when we hit round 4, as opposed to the minutia of going through every single individual player, I will start recording about 5 minutes apiece, the final mock draft that will go out on YouTube. So if you want to be involved in that, I will throw the link to the Walk the Mock draft that I just created into the chat, and you can join that. That'll be sometime Saturday. I will tell you what time by the end of this show.
All right. Look forward to that on the YouTube stream. The Ingles Living the Dream Tour. It's been a blast. This is the final trip of this year's version of the Living the Dream Tour. And, of course, it's brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. Clarissa sells WBNC.com and Parks Ford of Hendersonville, the provider of the Parks Ford of Hendersonville mobile studio. Now, Jeremy, we're continuing Cram Day here as our last live show before we are back live on the radio from Wisconsin next week. And some of the names that we haven't really discussed in the running back room, the prospect room. Ollie Gordon, Mr. 2,000 yards or whatever it was. There was a time where we didn't talk about any other running back in college football as much as we talked about Ollie Gordon. What happened in the process?
He had a really bad final year at Oklahoma State. And then he ran really, really slow. And he was really plodding, and all of his splits were bad. And that's one of those things that it's just, okay, irrelevant. You're in way too deep of a running back class to have all of those problems.
Mm-hmm. So you don't like him as a prospect even to be, I don't know, just a rotational player?
I think he can be the between the tackles, short yardage back that'll probably get a grand total of 75 carries a year. I think he's irrelevant.
Okay.
You can be big and plodding and slow, but you better be really physical. And he just wasn't as physical that last year as we had seen in the past.
Right. Definitely not as dominant with Oklahoma State this past year. That whole team wasn't as good as they had been. And Ollie's draft stock definitely took a hit. Are you saying 6th round?
Probably, yes.
Let's talk about a couple of Michigan running backs. Donovan Edwards and Khalil Mullings. Mullings really came on this past year and really down the stretch of the season. But I haven't heard much about either of them throughout this process.
Which one would you rather me start with?
Start with Donovan, because he was the one at the beginning of the year that had the most push behind him. Remember, he was on the cover of the video game and all of that. And then he just kind of fell by the wayside.
And he was just
obviously
bad.
Had a lot to do with Michigan's year, I'm sure.
He was bad. He was indecisive. He looked really slow. And that had kind of started in 23. He wore down by the end of the 23 season. And then last year, he just looked like a shell of himself. I have him as borderline draftable in the hopes that maybe there was an injury we don't know about. Maybe there was something that happened in this past year. Because, look, he does have a good NFL body. The former tape had been pretty good. 2022 was really his home run swing. That was where you looked at him and went, this kid's going to be – because he's built like a brick excrement house.
Mm-hmm.
And he had the pop. Well, now he's still built like that, but he doesn't have the pop anymore. And then he got replaced by a guy that I don't have a ton of faith in. I had never really had a ton of faith in, but then he had that one game. And he had that one game, and he chose to have that one game at just absolutely one of the best times humanly possible because it was against Ohio State. Mullings, to me, is – how do I explain this appropriately? All right, we're in a Panthers market, so this should be a real easy kind of apples-to-apples comparison. You remember all the things I said about Chuba Hubbard?
Yeah.
Same thing applies here.
Same thing.
You can run between the tackles. And I'm okay with all of that. You do that well. That requires 2 other running backs on this roster because I don't think he's going to be able to pop it to the outside all that well. He's got good feet, but I don't really think there's a whole lot there. And then you're just looking at a running back. So just humor me here for a minute. Who are you taking him over? You taking him over Byshell Tootin, who ran the fastest 40 in the class among running backs? No. You taking him ahead of Rocket Sanders, that I know you and I both really like? You taking him ahead of Corey Kiner, who is You remember those old Hair Club for Men commercials where that goofy goober would come out and go, "Not only am I a member of the Hair Club for Men, I'm also the president." Corey Kiner is a member and the president of the Itty Bitty Middies Committee because he's got just the little teeny tiniest hands you've ever seen in your life. 7 3/4 inch hands.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even think that was possible. I honestly, I have over 10-inch hands, and I look at that sometimes and go, if you cut 3 inches off my hands, how would I even move my mouse? Could I move it and click it at the same time?
How could I even live?
But even with that, I would still take him over Kyle Mullings.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he runs into a problem of you're in a bad running back class to just not be all that impressive. And I would say the same thing about Trevor Etienne. I would say the same thing about a slew of running backs in this class. Phil Maffa. Look, I think Phil Maffa is going to play in the NFL for several years. I don't think he's special. And you get in a class like this and you get washed out quick.
Shoot, Maffa, we hadn't talked about him at all.
I haven't heard a soul talk about him.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard you mention his name once. I even forgot he was in this class.
For sure. We have a super chat about Donovan Edwards. The college football cover curse. Now we don't just have Madden. We got the college football cover as well. Because in fairness, Quinn Ewers was on that too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he was, but
so was Travis Hunter.
I mean, but the curse is what? Like, okay, he only gets drafted in the second round of the draft? That's a curse?
Donovan Edwards? Donovan Edwards will be lucky to get drafted at all.
No. Quinn Ewers.
Oh, Quinn's not going that high. I don't think Quinn's going that high.
The only other person that would qualify for on that cover of that video game was Carson Beck.
Didn't go well for him either.
Mm-mm. Donovan Edwards, Carson Beck, but the rest of the crew, Hunter and Quinn Ewers, and who was the other one?
Well, Quinn Ewers, if we're looking at just if we're looking at his draft stock, then Quinn Ewers had a terrible year. I had him as the number one quarterback in the class at one point. And then it was real quick for me to go, whoo, your feet are bad. Whoo, your feet are bad. You look like a little kid that put his light-up shoes on the wrong foots, and now you can't do squat.
Give points for David L. in the YouTube comments. He says Travis Hunter's curse is now he has to play for the New York Giants. Bingo.
Or the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I don't know which one's worse.
Oh, it's the Jaguars. It's the Jaguars, because at least with the Giants, you get to live in New York. In Jacksonville, you got to deal with a fight promoter as your owner, his goober of a son, and you get to go to dinner at Bennigan's. Hey, let's have a romantic date night at the Applebee's in Jacksonville, Florida. Oh.
Yeah, but at least you're closer to Disney World. So,
I mean, if you doubt what I just said, just ask yourself this question. Hey, nationally renowned steakhouses, you ever heard one in Jacksonville, Florida?
Mm-hmm.
No. And you know why? Because there'd be some goober that's out here with a bush light, a mullet, and a pair of jean shorts going, hey, I know your steaks are good, but could you grill this squirrel for me?
Will Workman says Jalen Milroe and Quinshad Judkins were on the deluxe cover. So don't be on the deluxe cover, and it won't hurt your draft stock that much.
Now, I will say Bob Brown had a good point. Yes, but if you play in Florida for a really bad team, you get to keep more of your money.
True.
That's a solid. That is spoken as a true R, and I laud that. I really do.
No state income tax. That really comes into play.
But now here's the question:
for Florida teams.
Now,
sure.
Now this is an honest question. I mean, we're talking cram session here. This is a draft question. Would you
Okay.
rather play in a state with no income tax or play in a city where there's anything to do? I know your answer. Your answer's irrelevant. You'd play in Guadalajara if you didn't have to pay taxes.
Most definitely.
Tank would be a member of the Greenland Saskatoon Muskrats if that meant he didn't have to pay taxes. Your wife would hate it, but I know your answer.
She'd get over it. I'd buy her some more of whatever.
I'm also
The
married
extra
to a
savings,
financial
right?
advisor who does a really good job of making sure that when it comes to taxes, Uncle Sam gets only what he deserves and nothing more.
Right. Tax time sucks. By the way, happy tax day.
What is tax day?
Yeah, if you didn't get your return in, then you need to do so. Unless you live in Asheville, unless you live in the disaster area, we've got till May 1st. So the federal government did give us a little bit of a break.
I guess I'll have to.
We still have to pay our taxes, unfortunately, but we get a little more time to file.
I guess I'll have to go into the next room and ask, hey, did we file our taxes? Because I have no idea. She doesn't let me touch those things. I don't know what our insurance looks like. I'm the definition. Thankfully, I'm married to a very good, honest, trustworthy woman because I'm that idiot that the wife took out a $7 million insurance policy, and he had no idea I'm that guy. This guy right here, that would be me.
Same.
You can tell me I'm insured for $7 million or $17, and it wouldn't shock me either way. Sure.
Oh, what happened to that draft prospect? We're playing the crash course here, the cram session, right before the NFL draft here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, your Draftmas station. We will have live coverage for you next week, Thursday and Friday, from Green Bay, Wisconsin. We'll be right back and continue the cram session. We'll discuss wide receivers. We hadn't really talked about a lot throughout the process. Next.
This is a story of the
Clear
specialist for
In
university
the process,
housing. He knows college students can.
Well, I mixed up process and next.
Students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million
That's what your
industrial
wife
grade
calls
products and
doing it
fast,
on your
dependable
birthday.
delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs, so he
Trust
doesn't have
the
to.
process.
I got arrested for Prosex one time. Solicitation of Prosex.
Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
He told me it was going to be $150 for a topsy-turvy, and I didn't know what that meant.
You're our number one.
That's what the MPs in Vietnam called it. The Prosex.
Station streaming 24/7. Your home for the Sportsocracy. Weekdays at noon.
I wasn't even sure what she was talking about. I thought she was going to give me a high five. I was just excited because her hands looked soft.
I'm at the movies. Asking.
She had them Corey Connor hands, and I got excited.
Here, take mine. Can I take pictures?
So what about $574
Send
if you
them to my
switch your
fridge?
home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
When you switch to Progressive and bundle your home and auto, you could save hundreds, and that's a surprising amount of money.
Whoa. If Corey Connor doesn't make it in the NFL, he can become a fluffer for the sperm racing league.
For sure.
Heirloom tomatoes in every imaginable color except red money.
Let's get 2 pounds of pink oyster mushrooms money. I'm not even sure I like pink oyster mushrooms.
Guess it's time to find out, because you could save hundreds when you switch to Progressive and bundle. Then the world is your pink oyster.
Just seeing you
Progressive
cackle
Insurance Company,
muted
affiliates,
is
and other insurance
hilarious.
not available in all states.
The championship is back in the Bay for the first time in 40 years.
On the new limited podcast series, Dub Dynasty, we hear from head coach Steve Kerr on how Steph Curry almost never even joined the Warriors.
In fact, I thought we had a draft day deal to end up getting him to Phoenix.
For the entire behind-the-scenes story of Golden State's incredible 10-year run, open your free iHeartRadio app.
Oh, Gambit doesn't know what a fluffer is. Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue in Asheville. Google it and use your incognito window.
For sure.
Old Flake.
Yeah, do not search that on your work computer.
Yeah. And they've got the balls.
You will have a
Bear's
meeting with
famous
HR
bear
that
balls
you are
packed
not
with
prepared
mac and
for.
cheese, pulled pork, cornbread, and deep fried. And then
These
topped
two
with
idiots
bacon
on the
cheese
radio
sauce.
told me to do it in
This
the
is
break.
place to be. Live music on Saturdays and the first Sunday of every month. They partner with a guitar bar to host Mr. Jimmy's Barbecue Blues. Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville and South Asheville.
Welcome to Harvest Farms, where the best organic or natural products are waiting for you, where the fields are filled with flavorful delights, and every bite is backed with the highest quality.
We have breaking news coming back, by the way.
This is a place of affordable adventure, where freshness reigns supreme.
We also got to talk about the Nico
It can
Imaliava
only
thing
be
before
found
this is all
at
said and done.
Ingles. Harvest Farms Organics. You'll love what's inside.
Yeah.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. Our purpose, to improve lives with every interaction. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. Like Trent and Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies
Gammon said he's
going to
err on the side of
hardest hit
caution.
areas in those first hours. Like Eric.
Put
who
it to
hosted
this
the
way,
football team
Gammon,
Neighbors
it's
and
basically
began
like the
cleanup
ring girls at a
Nominate your Parks
UFC
Community
fight.
Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's
Only way more active.
Experience the Parks Promise
They're way
today
more
at
involved in the show.
parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
You are a regular nuclear meltdown. You better cool off.
We're back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. Bob Brown in the YouTube comments says, people really need to subscribe to this show just for what gets said during the commercial breaks on the YouTube
I'm honestly, I'm thinking in the new season. Basically, our seasons end at the draft. So then we take a little bit of time off. We make some new stuff. Any revisions to the show schedule, we do those in the late spring and early summer, and then we come back and better than ever. Still Mike Greenberg line. In the new season, I do believe I'm going to record the things that are said in the breaks just for straight Patreon content of this is what we talked about today. We learned people a new word and got 2 people fired.
That's right. Don't Google it on your work computer. That's not a good idea. It is cram session day here in the Sportsocracy, as this will be our last live radio show before the big trip to Wisconsin. You'll still have Sportsocracy content, especially Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, the final Flostradamus mock draft. Tomorrow on ESPN Asheville and next Wednesday on ESPN Asheville, we've got Atlanta Braves baseball at the noontime, so that would knock us off anyway. With this weekend being a holiday, we were going to take Friday off, and then, we decided, why just come back for Thursday? So Thursday will be a rest and planning day as well, plus a churn the content out day for Mr. Draft Nerd. We will continue to bring you mock draft coverage on Saturday on the YouTube stream. And, of course, we'll have all of the coverage from up in Wisconsin when we get there next week. So you're still going to have plenty of us throughout the next couple of weeks as we take our final trip on the 2024-25 version of the Ingles Living the Dream Tour with Ingles Supermarkets, Park Ford of Hendersonville, and Clarissa Sells WBNC.com. Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue, a new member of they jumped in late in the trip, but glad to have the partnership with them, and stay tuned because coming up later on in the program, I'm going to tell you how, you can just have a whale of a weekend over at Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue. Let's talk. Should we talk Nico here before we get into wide receivers? Because we only got a couple of minutes before the bottom of the hour break.
Oh, and Nico Imaliava?
Yeah.
I mean, his name tells you everything. He is Nico.
As I called him,
Imaliavin.
Imaliava. That is how I first said his name when the story came out The Tennessee Volunteers had struck an $8 million deal with some kid from California to be their next quarterback, and his name was Nico Iamaleava. I can remember making the statement of, well, I can't wait until he turns tail and runs and goes to the next big contract. And lo and behold, here we are. Nico Iamaleava saying goodbye to Tennessee and going out searching for, what was the figure I heard this morning? It was at least $2.5 million a year from his next school. But the discussion was being had of, nobody's got that really to spend because it's a little late in the process. So the question becomes, how is this a smart move?
It's not.
On Nico's part.
It's not. You also got to understand that he didn't. So Nico thought he was going to get cute. This is, and boys and girls, younger children that are younger than old Tank and myself. I am 38 years old. I am divorced, and I live in a big manor up on the hill. And the way I got here, young children, is because I learned a valuable lesson. You are what you're worth. Nico thought he was worth a little bit more than he was. And he decided he was going to fa, and he foed. Because Josh Heupel went, go now get. And I laud him for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what's going to happen now, right?
Hostage.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen now, right?
What's that?
Every mid to higher tier quarterback that was thinking about transferring, they're throwing their name in the portal. They may not transfer out. They're throwing their name in. Because now there's a spot on a Tennessee team that's super talented, and they need a quarterback. Now, where does Nico go? I'll give you a hint. And you call me crazy when I say this, but I'll bet you that call's made.
Mm-hmm.
Old Bill Belichick and Unk itself.
Oh, you think so?
UNC. Well, he can't transfer in the SEC.
Well, you know that.
Because this is the spring transfer window. So he'd have to sit out of here if he goes to the SEC. Mm-hmm. Where in the Big Ten you think he's going? Michigan, who just paid $11 billion? Really? Bill Workman said UNC's out on him. I'm sure that's what they're telling you right now. I'll believe it when I see it.
You think Bill Belichick wants a kid who tried to hold his last team hostage for more money?
I think Bill Belichick will not be in the first wave. He will quickly figure out that there's not going to be a lot of teams involved in this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody talked about him going to Oregon. Who do you think told Josh Heupel that he was out here looking for more money? It was Dan Lanning, which, by the way, Dan Lanning, that is some Stan Marsh in the wheelbarrow kind of stuff. And by the way, I see all of you saying, Bill already said no. I watched Bill Belichick for 22 years on the opposite side of my team. If you believe what he tells you to your face, that's on you. I watched him lie to the media for 2 decades. You take that for what it's worth. Colorado, they've already paid money to Caden Salter. Oh, by the way, they've also got a young kid that was a freshman in this last class. They don't have any money. So it's not Colorado. And I'm just telling you, you can go through these one by one by one and just go, nope, that doesn't make sense. Nope, that doesn't make sense. Because there's this myth that all these teams are printing money. They're not. Because let me explain something about college football that I don't understand why this is so hard for people to understand. But it really seems to be hard for certain people to understand. How much of the pie would you say football pays? Like, in terms of the budget, the income column is what percent football revenue at practically every school in America?
I would say the baseline is probably 65 to 70%.
I would say the baseline is 75, and at some schools, I would say it gets all the way to 90.
Okay.
Because some of these schools, unless you've got a really good women's basketball program, unless you've got a really good men's basketball program, unless you've got a really good baseball program, everything I just said either breaks even or loses money. Football's carrying the water on everything. But there's this little thing called Title IX that says I can't differentiate between the two. It's not like the WNBA. Because the WNBA doesn't make any money, the NBA doesn't give it any money. College sports, you have to. It's a law. You don't have a choice. So you can't start disbanding these programs. You have to keep these programs in place. Football, they make a ton of money. They don't get it all. And so when you start talking about a guy that just spurned a $2 million guaranteed offer, which, oh, by the way, I have it on good authority that he was going to get paid the last year of, whether he went into the draft or not. So basically, He was sitting on $4 million for this year regardless. So unless he's a complete idiot, he's not going to leave for less than that. He knew that the minute he staged his little sit-in. Bob Brown asked, how would an NFL team view a potential draft prospect quarterback who signed a big NIL deal and then walked away from his school for a bigger NIL deal? I'm going to answer that question with a question. Why do you think we're talking about it on cram day for the NFL draft? Do you know how I found out about this? That Josh Heupel was going to tell him to pound sand?
How's that?
I didn't learn it on Saturday morning. I learned it on Friday night. Because this was a poorly kept secret between people in the NFL that Josh Heupel's letting it be known. He's going to tell this kid to kick rocks. And then he did. And frankly,
good for him.
It makes me like Josh Heupel 10 times more than I already did. And that was pretty high in the first place.
Mm-hmm. I don't have very nice things to say about Tennessee people, just as a basic rule. And I am 100% in the Josh Heupel camp now, that he looked at him and said, go. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be here? Go. I'm already committed to you. You committed to me. If you don't want to live up to that, then GTFO.
I think there is a chance that you see Nico Iamaleava wind up at either a low Power 5 or a school that you would never have thought of that comes off some – Boise State's a name that I've heard like 10 times. Because Boise just lost a big piece of their pie in Ashton Genty, and Genty was getting paid. So they've got money in the coffers. I don't know if it's this much.
Right.
By the way, this is also a great time to say, as a guy that watched Tennessee awful closely last year, Nico's not worth it. If I got Caden Salter for $500,000 or Nico Iamaleava for $4.5, I'll take Caden Salter.
There's no question there. It was a bold strategy, Cotton.
This is a great.
See how it works out for him.
I
don't think it's going to work out very well.
This is as good of an economics lesson as you will ever get. There are two values in this world: what you think you're worth and what you're actually worth. And if Nico Iamaleava was worth $4.5 million, he would still be wearing orange right now. Because you can tell me nobody's bigger than the program all you want to. If this was Arch Manning, we would be having a very different conversation right now. But it's not. It's a quarterback that Tennessee largely won in spite of last year, outside of one game against NC State where he looked like an absolute world beater. And then beyond that, he was really average for much of that year. Him and Drew Aller remind me so much of each other, it's pathetic. Because you'll see out of this world talent, out of this world plays that you just go, my God, this kid's going to be a legend. And then you absolutely screw up the most mundane thing you could possibly do. This would be like, these two are like husbands that absolutely do out of this world things. They build cars, and anything that breaks in the house, they fix it. But they can't stop canoodling their secretary. That doesn't make you a good husband.
Right.
Just because you do things that other people can't do, you can't do the most basic thing, which is have your Vinegar Strokes 500s at home and not on the desk of your that's an analogy, boys and girls. That is a draft week analogy, and it is as good as it gets.
Yep. Nico Iamaleava going from Tennessee cannot go anywhere within the SEC because of league rules. So will he wind up with the ACC? Carolina has been one of the rumored spots. Could he end up in the Big Ten? Go back out to the West Coast? Who knows? You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
ESPN.
Clear.
Thank you.
Your mountain weather forecast.
Winds gusting with a wind advisory this afternoon. Winds could gust 40 to 45 miles per hour. Get some sunshine, though, 60 degrees. Tonight, a colder night. Runs through. Clear sky, 40. Some spots in the 30s. And with that breeze around tomorrow morning, it could be a heavier jacket. Sunny and breezy in the afternoon, 60. Thursday, a lot better. Sunny, 70. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray JJ.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. The new My Lowe's Pro Rewards program makes it easier than ever for members to save and get
All
more.
right, so we'll do
Join for free
weird
today.
here, and then we got
Lowe's,
breaking
They
news.
help you save.
Okay.
Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms subject to change.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Bonus bucks. Bonus bucks. Once you win $1,000 in bonus bucks, you'll have more money to use on your fantasy leagues. Bonus bucks. The winning happens every weekday, right here
on ESPN Asheville.
Explore a career as a correctional officer. NC Department of Adult Correction is hiring with a $10,000 sign-on bonus. Becoming a correctional officer can be a rewarding first step along a criminal justice career. Visit dac.nc.gov/co-jobs.
All about the presets.
That is the best new feature. It's like a car radio right on the app. There's a list of what's trending. There's all the podcasts. I love it.
Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio.
Buying or selling a home doesn't have to be stressful. Let me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your local real estate expert, guide you every step of the way. Whether you're searching for your dream home, looking to sell quickly, or exploring investment opportunities, I've got the experience and the tools to get you the best deal possible. Call me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty at 828-774-6343.
What is your weird story?
Let's make your real estate dreams a reality. I'm your trust.
Man thought he was going deaf and actually had something stuck in his ear
Flowers are in bloom.
for 20 years.
Begin to greet you each morning. You
That feller
know
needs
that
a
the magic
Q-tip
of Easter-
bad.
He does. He does.
Easter magic begins at Ingalls.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, we found out a lot of things about our community. We saw neighbors helping neighbors, and we learned in desperate times one of the best things to have around is a redneck with a chainsaw.
Not just a chainsaw, boy. Just country boys in general. When you live in these mountains, you figure it out. Like, you make stuff happen.
After answering the calls for help that they heard on the radio, the Chainsaw Brothers are still here, making it happen the right way. Fair, insured, and local. Need tree help? Call the Chainsaw Brothers. 316-1013. 316-1013.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
It is ESPN Asheville, the Sportsocracy, coming to you live from the Ingalls studio. Jeremy, live in the NFLDraft.net Mullet Manor. And, Jeremy, there's a man in Scotland who thought he was going deaf. But it turns out he wasn't actually going deaf naturally. He was going deaf because he had an obstruction in his head. The man's name is Darren McConaughey? McConaughey? I don't know. So there's a CH in there somewhere. Anyhow, he's from Glasgow, Scotland. And He was suffering from hearing loss, had been for a couple of years. And then one night, describes to his doctor that he started to feel like this unbearable pressure in his ear. And then he said it felt like something popped. And then he could start to feel something moving around in there. Lo and behold, the guy who thought he had been going deaf for the last 10 years actually had a Lego stuck in his ear hole. And he tried to figure out when the hell it got in there, because he doesn't have kids. And he says, I can't ever remember being around Legos before, except for when he was about 4 or 5 years old. So the theory is, amongst him and the doctors, is that when he was a child, he got a pink Lego stuck in his ear, and then 20 years later, it just dislodged once in the middle of the night. He said it was nasty. It was covered in all kinds of wax and stuff, but that thing had been clogging up his ear canal for 20 years. How on earth did you not feel this? Do you not clean your ears? Do you never put a Q-tip down inside your ear?
Well, you're not supposed to do that, right?
What?
You're not supposed to use a Q-tip because it actually just jams things further down inside it. That might be how he wound up. Here's what I don't understand. How did it get in there and you didn't notice it? Like, once it's in there, okay, now I get it. You've gotten used to it. How did it get in there in the first place?
No clue. Where was it hiding?
It's like people that go for proctological exams and people find things in there. How'd you not know? I mean, once it's in there, okay, maybe, I don't know. Never tried.
Well, see, that's what a lie sounds like.
What are you, a cop?
That's never accidentally done. I'm pretty sure.
You didn't fall down either.
No,
I
you
fell
didn't
on it.
slip and fall on that.
I fell on it. Sure you did. People do that a lot. It's weird how often people do that.
But we
my
found
story,
this receipt from the pet store in your pocket.
Yeah, that was headed down a path. My story, it harkens back to the days of Joe Exotic, and he would never financially recover from this. Tank, there's an event going on right now it's one of the most popular events in the country. People are coming from miles, hundreds of thousands of miles away to see this event. What event am I referring to? And no, it's not the NFL Draft.
The Vinegar Strokes 500. Give it time.
I wasn't prepared for you to say that. I'm too tired for you to say things that are actually honest to God funny. That was good.
Oddly enough, they've never had one yet. It's already bigger than the WNBA title game. At Sports Tank ESPN.
You could add him for that one. I didn't say it. I just laughed at it. Because he wasn't wrong. No, it's Coachella.
Yes, Coachella.
The legendary music festival with headliners such as Post Malone and Lady Gaga and Green Day. How much do you think a ticket for Coachella cost?
Way too damn much.
So the baseline tickets, no VIP, just getting in the door for the festival, started at $600. There was also a payment plan that you could get in for as low as just $49.99. But what do you pay a ton of?
Interest rates.
Interest. The interest on a $600 ticket, if you carry it all the way out, you pay $41 on top of the ticket price just for financing. If you pay it off the next day, you pay an extra $41. Okay. You then manage to pay an extra 31% every 6 months that you don't pay this off, which means your ticket in 18 months becomes 150% of what you. That's mind-boggling. But that's actually not even the point of the story. How much does a lemonade cost at Coachella?
Oh,
simple lemonade. It literally styrofoam cup, ice, lemonade, lemon in it. What does that cost?
$8.
Double it and you're still short.
What?
It's $17.
Oh my God.
The saddest plate of tacos you've ever seen. There are 3 tacos on this plate. And what looks to be, I don't really know what that other thing is. It kind of looks like a Mexican pizza from Taco Bell. If somebody decided, I'm going to screw this up so bad and make it look like cat food. Those 2 platters and a lemonade, $102.
Good night.
To see Lady Gaga and Green Day, who I swear to God until 5 minutes ago, I was convinced was already dead.
But you never know who's going to show up, you know. It's always the unbilled talent that shows up that really puts it over the top. Really gives you that Coachella experience.
Okay, so I'm gonna draw an analogy, and I'm a big fan of analogies. For me, Coachella is a lot like the Vinegar Strokes 500. I'm not gonna say I wouldn't enjoy the event, but I really know I'm not going to enjoy the other spectators that are here for the event. The crowd is really going to ruin my experience, for sure.
No doubt about it. Did you see who showed up at Coachella to do a little late night politicking?
Oh, I'm scared to death who you're about to say.
Oh, it's our good friend Bernie. Oh, Bernie Sanders. God. Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders shows up at a place that's charging $100 for dinner at a festival.
Yeah.
That is probably the funniest thing I think I've ever heard.
Yeah, and what's funny, like 40% of the people in that crowd probably voted for him, and they don't realize why we're laughing at them. You're not understanding it, and it's funny to me.
The prices are unbelievable at Coachella this year. And it's all because of Donald Trump.
I would like to see Bill Clinton at Coachella. Like, hey, what's that girl's name with the dreadlocks over there? I want to see what she's all about. She looks fun. I don't know anything about this music, but I do remember Green Day. They woke me up after September ended. I got impeached. It was bad. There was a dress. There was a Vinegar Strokes 500. It was not good. It was the worst 60 days in any president's history.
Oh, Lord. The show that gets dumber and dumber by
the
minute. Welcome in to the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
We have a super chat, and it's so good for the conversation we're having right now.
All right. Super chat time.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
This show's going nowhere.
For sure. This is our last day before vacation, before the biggest work trip of the year. This was never a good idea. We should have just called it good after yesterday and just said, we'll see you in Green Bay.
Indeed. You know who's really loving this show today? Jeff.
Oh, yeah. Jeff's. Oh, hate that stupid ginger idiot. Hi, Jeff. What up? Red Sea said, I am once again asking for your financial support so I may order some food and not die. How many GoFundMes do you think there are around Coachella?
Oh, I'm sure there's a few. There's definitely a few.
Alexa, take a picture of my middle finger, donate 1 penny to every GoFundMe with the word Coachella in the title.
We're raising a fund to get Starbeam her first appearance at Coachella, and we need gas money. You know it's something stupid like that.
What was that voice, and where did it come from?
You know.
You sounded like you were impersonating a specific teacher of yours from when you were in the 4th grade. Whoa, I was not ready for that.
My freshman year chemistry teacher. She was very, very nice. She spoke in small phrases.
Whew.
Never shaved. She belonged at Coachella.
For sure.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. When we come back from the top of the hour break, we will continue with the cram session here of the NFL Draft. Prospects, whatever happened to that guy? Names that you might know from around college football, but we ain't heard their name throughout the draft process here.
He's hanging out at Coachella with Sunbeam and Bernie Sanders.
We'll be right back here in the Ingles studio, NFLDraft.net, Mullet Manor on ESPN Asheville.
ESPN Asheville.
We're clear.
From Mountain Weather Forecast.
Winds gusting with a wind advisory this afternoon. Winds could gust 40
Every
to 45
person
miles
that
per
turns
hour.
the radio when they hear our voices
sunshine,
now
though,
hates us a
60
little
degrees.
more than they did 15
Tonight, a
minutes
colder
ago.
night. Runs through. Clear sky, 40. Some spots in the 30s. And with that breeze around tomorrow morning, it could be a heavier jacket. Sunny and breezy in the afternoon. 60. Thursday, a lot better. Sunny.
That's so funny.
Channel High meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant
I got like
push-to-talk
5 minutes
walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage.
Yeah.
Subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When something happens to your car, you might say, well, that's just great.
Oh, perfect.
Awesome. How nice for me. But what you really need to say is, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there to help you file your claim.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
Friday, April 18th, the Orange Peel presents The Taylor Party, a Taylor Swift-themed dance party. Get your tickets now, online at theorangepeel.net. Don't miss The Taylor Party, a Taylor Swift-themed dance party, live April 18th. See you at the Peel.
Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in Asheville has two things that all Sportsocracy fans crave: bold flavors and big portions. Oh, yeah, and they've got the balls. Bear's famous bear balls are packed with mac and cheese, pulled pork, cornbread, and deep fried and then topped with bacon and cheese sauce. This is the place to be. Live music on Saturdays and the first Sunday of every month. They partner with the Guitar Bar to host Mr. Jimmy's Barbecue Blues. Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville and South Asheville.
Looking to buy or sell in Western North Carolina? At Clarissa Sells WNC, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County, selling over 100 homes in 2024. We represent both buyers and sellers, and with a personalized approach to meet your needs.
At Clarissa Sells WNC, real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. Call me today, Clarissa Marshall, at 828-774-6343. When it comes to real estate, we're here for what matters most, you.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville, introducing you to this month's Parks Community Heroes, Corey and Kristen Short and the entire team at Silverados, who converted their music venue in Black Mountain into a donation and distribution zone in the wake of Hurricane Helene. Corey and his team founded Valley Strong Disaster Relief, dedicated to providing essential support to our neighbors in need. Nominate your Parks Community Hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
What are you people? On dope?
Bonus bucks. Bonus
bucks. Once you win $1,000 in bonus bucks, you'll have more money to use on your fantasy leagues. Bonus bucks. The winning happens every weekday, right here
on ESPN Asheville.
Looking for a career with stability and purpose? NC Department of Adult Correction is hiring correctional officers statewide with a $10,000 sign-on bonus, paid vacation, and benefits. Learn more. Visit dac.nc.gov/cojobs.
Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports have teamed up under a new local owner to serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports can customize whatever you, your team, or your local group may need with high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving. Visit mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com. That's mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com for your local one-stop custom apparel shops.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere.
I just figured something
so
out.
If you're high, just don't drive. Make a sober ride. Because if you feel different,
we had the microphone thing, the microphone
Brought to you by
issue.
NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In the aftermath,
You
of
wanna know how
Hurricane
long
Helene,
that's
we
been
found out a
having
lot
to
of
go
things
on?
about our community. We saw neighbors helping.
I
neighbors.
couldn't figure out how you
Times
could
one of the
hear
best
me,
things to have around is
even
a
when I had
redneck
my
with a
mic
chainsaw.
muted.
Not just a chainsaw, boy.
That
just
was
country
2
boys in
months
general.
ago
When you live
that
in
I
these
haven't
mountains,
been
you
able
figure
to
it
cough
out.
or
You
do
make
anything
stuff
on this show
happen.
because I
After
could
answering
not
the
figure
calls
out why
for
you were
help that
picking
they
me
heard
up.
on the Right.
Because it was
Brothers
running both
are still
mics
here,
at the same
making
time.
it happen the right way. Fair, insured, and local. Need tree help? Yep. Oh, brothers. 316-1013. 316-1013.
Don't miss the Cold Mountain Music Festival at beautiful Lake Logan in Canton, North Carolina, Friday and Saturday, May 30th and 31st. This year's lineup has Fireside Collective, Melissa
Big Dumb
Carter,
Bears.
the Shed House Trio featuring Darren Nicholson, Denisha, Fancy and the Gentleman, The Last Rebel, and American Aquarium. Proceeds support the programs of Lake Logan, Camp Henry, and the Outdoor School. And for every ticket purchased, Lake Logan will donate $1 to support this year's participating jam musicians. General admission and camping tickets on sale now at coldmountainmusic.org.
From the Ingalls Studio, WPEK Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, W225CJ Candler, the #1 preset in your car, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, Bills. That's Bills. Enter it now.
Go to ESPNAVL.com to play, and good luck.
Live from the Ingalls Studio,
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
the Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog see! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment. Oh my God. The Jets killed him.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM at 1400. If you're just joining the program today, boy, have we got a show for you.
You're one of the lucky
like
ones that missed the last 10 minutes of the last hour, which was just, to say it was chaos and pandalirium.
It's an understatement. It is definitely an understatement.
This is what happens when one sleep-deprived man and one, I don't know what your problem is. I'm not even sure I'm here right now. This might be a dream that's happening in my subconscious.
Just roll with it, Jeremy. That is my that is my life philosophy. Just roll with it. Whatever comes, comes. Anyhow,
that is the tagline of the. Never mind. No good.
Yes, it was. Welcome back into the program. It is the final live show before our live shows in Green Bay, Wisconsin for the 2025 NFL Draft. Tomorrow, Braves baseball here on ESPN Asheville. We will have a special House of Reprehensible show only on the YouTube tomorrow. It'll be Jeremy Greene's final mock draft, the final of the mock drafts. First round, second round, and third round all tomorrow. You will have early access to that because we'll be playing that on the radio show on Monday and Tuesday.
It'll also,
because we'll be
if you're on our
traveling.
Patreon, it will work there too. I'll post the link in Patreon as well.
Okay.
Don't want anybody to think we're trying to double dip. We're trying to not do this. We don't want it to be a repeat for everybody on Monday and Tuesday. So we can have some fun this way. We'll make some jokes in the breaks. We'll show some stuff that out of the draft guide. You get an early look at some things from the draft guide. It'll be a fun time. We have not done this one time in 3 years. That the House of Reprehensibles has been a thing. So we thought it would be fun for tomorrow, and it allows us to have some shenanigans in the breaks. It'll be fun.
Most
fun
definitely.
time.
Tune in for that on the YouTube stream tomorrow for House of Reprehensibles members. And as I said, the cleaner parts, or all the clean parts, will be played back on Monday and Tuesday of next week while we are traveling up to Green Bay, Wisconsin. We'll have Braves baseball again next Wednesday, and then live shows Thursday and Friday from Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. And the YouTube will have the live coverage from Radio Row at the 2025 NFL Draft Thursday, Friday next week.
And then
YouTube
Saturday's
stream
just a full
all day on Saturday.
And then Saturday's just a full spectacular. And we're going to be grilling some. There will be a creature of some kind will have to lose its life for us to live, because there's a grill that's about the same size as the Ingalls studio outside this house, and I plan to see what it's all about.
Yes.
I also plan on I'm going to try to do the reverse thing of Mel Kiper. He has never made toilet during a draft. He has also never drank anything on air. He has never drank anything, period. And the only thing he will eat is one slice of pumpkin pie on day 3. I'm going to do the exact opposite of that. I am going to consume several domestic lights, many more when we get to undrafted free agents that start filtering out after 6 o'clock on Saturday. And we are going to eat so many meats. Maybe joined by a starch or two. Who knows?
All of that coming your way over the next week or so here in the Sportsocracy. 9 days to the 2025 NFL Draft, and it will be the final trip of this season's Ingalls Living the Dream Tour. The Ingalls Supermarkets, low prices, love the savings. Parks Ford of Hendersonville, Clarissa sells WBNC.com, and our newest sponsor, Bears Smokehouse Barbecue.
Detroit fan man with a good point in the YouTube comments. We're coming full circle. Bessie was the star of the Senior Bowl coverage and will be dinner for the draft coverage. That's flawless logic, and we appreciate it quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. For the last 30 minutes or so, we've had to do this, but the dumbassery got in the way.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
Breaking news, what you got, Jeremy?
Tyron Smith is officially retiring from the NFL.
Oh, okay.
He will sign a one-day contract to retire with the Dallas Cowboys. And as a fan of the New York Jets, I ask, could you not have done that a year ago? I'm convinced he retired 1 year before he played for the New York Jets.
He had to test it. He had to make sure that he was done. And last year was bad enough with the Jets where he decided, you know what? I can't go on anymore.
I just want to know what has to happen for us to actually brand that on the front door. The New York Jets, where future Hall of Famers go to die.
I think it's just known. You don't have to advertise it. Everybody already knows.
Oh, for sure. The New York Jets are the Clifton Fields retirement home of the NFL.
It's like the Taco Bell constipation plan, right? You feel a little constipated, go to Taco Bell. They don't advertise that, but we all know that's what it's for.
Nope.
Practically the only good thing it's for.
You shut your mouth. I don't talk bad about your friends. I had Taco Bell breakfast salsa on a breakfast burrito this morning.
Woo.
Oh, so
why do you
good.
hate yourself?
Tank, I've slept 2.5 hours in 2 days. I don't think the breakfast burrito, which was frozen and delightful, and it was procured at my local Ingles supermarkets, low prices, love the savings. That has nothing to do with why I hate myself.
Wait, I thought you said it came from Taco Bell.
No, the sauce came from Taco Bell.
Oh, you just had Taco Bell sauce on a microwaved burrito.
Yes.
That is, oddly enough, an upgrade over Taco Bell food. So congratulations.
Well, you know what? When they hop on as a sponsor here, I'll be sure to tell them not to pay you.
Not to pay me a damn thing. He's talking smack.
And you eat Taco Bell all the time.
I do. I will.
You are maddeningly inconsistent.
I can talk smack about Arby's, too, but I had that for lunch today as well.
If you'd had the fish sandwich, I swear to God, I'd have dropped you off in Louisville and made you hitchhike home.
That's good Lord. No, thank you. That's not for me.
We I'm glad
sandwich from a barbecue or from a roast beef place.
I am glad you said something to this effect. We do have to get David Smith a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich while we're in Wisconsin.
Do they have Chick-fil-A up there?
For sure. He's never had Chick-fil-A because they don't have it in Canada. That was the one thing we did not get in Indianapolis that we have to make sure we confirm for this here draft trip.
No Chick-fil-A in Canada. I'm pretty sure you had told me that before, but it's still shocking to me.
They didn't have Jack in the Box. They didn't have all kinds of things. I showed him the world, and he now one of the funniest things has been said through the whole draft process. Dave, I came to America, and all I got was a secondhand vape habit and a debilitating fast food addiction.
Yes, I'm looking at the map right now. There are several options for Chick-fil-A between Green Bay and Sturgeon Bay.
I will get 4 of those sweet salads with a nice cold fillet on top. That'll be my lunch for the entire week. That creamy salsa dressing.
Yeah.
Tasty.
All right, you can follow the Sportsocracy on all the social medias at the Sportsocracy, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Join the House of Reprehensibles so you can join us for tomorrow's special mock draft episode. Again, Braves baseball taking up our time here on ESPN Asheville. It's cram day before the draft, and figured it was a good time to go over some names that you might remember from college football action over the last 3 or 4 years, but throughout the draft process, you may not have heard their name mentioned too much on this here program. A very familiar name, or there's a couple of very familiar names in the wide receiver class. We've talked ad nauseum about how talented or deep this wide receiver class is. The top, is not elite.
It's like my dating record.
A name.
It's like my dating record.
Right.
There's not, the high-end talent's not necessarily there outside of my wife, which would be the Tetaroa McMillan of this class. But there's a lot of threes. If you're wanting to just have a fun time with some threes, this receiver class is for you. Especially the really slotty ones.
So the Green Bay Packers are going to have a lot of fun with this draft class. Is that what you're saying? Wide receivers. Let's start with a more familiar name for Carolina Panthers fans. Moose's kid. Moose and Muhammad. I mean, is he a player late in this draft?
To get drafted, probably not. He's had some injury issues. He missed a handful of games this past year. Just not really productive. He got passed on the depth chart. I mean, look, there's still some juice there. He just never improved. And he really got put into a weird spot when they switched coaching staffs because he was just a complete afterthought. Put it this way, he played 85 snaps last year on passing downs. That's not good. But I think there's a great chance he probably signs a UDFA deal with Carolina or Chicago or one of the. I know they've been in contact through the process. So
Right. Okay.
I would struggle to believe he got drafted, though.
One of the names that get covered up because he's not one of the major stars on his own team, but Jimmy Horn Jr. is a guy that I've been seeing a lot of prognosticators say you need to keep an eye on this kid because he could come into the league and be one of those late-round draft picks that really makes a difference.
Well, he's just
agree?
he's fine. He's just so small. And you look at his games against high-level competition, it just wasn't really there. Look, Colorado's got 3 receivers that all are going to be somewhat battling to be selected. LaJohntay Webster's the other one. And he and Jimmy Horn are both little, itty-bitty, teeny-tiny fellers. And then Will Shepard is the last one. And I'll be honest with you, if I was selecting any of them, it would probably be Shepard. He had the worst tape this past year, but I think he probably has the best profile in the NFL. I would actually go probably the opposite way most people would go. It would be Shepard 1, Webster 2, Horn 3. But they're all pretty close. I will bet you anything you want, whatever team drafts Deion Sanders has at least one of these guys on that roster when we break minicamp in a week.
Shedeur Sanders, you mean?
What'd I say?
You said Deion.
Deion will not be playing for anyone.
Deion will not be back in the draft.
No. But whoever drafts Shedeur, there's a great chance they bring in at least one, if not 2 of his receivers for familiarity's sake.
All right. Have we heard any updates on Xavier Restrepo from Miami?
He's almost done with his 40. It started like 3.5 weeks
He's
ago.
Still running.
He's
still
almost
actively
done.
running right now.
He kind of looks like Forrest Gump at this point. When he just goes, "Pretty tired. I think I'll go home now." Yeah, you can't be that small and run that slow.
Yeah,
I would say Restrepo now. He dropped like a rock for me because I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw him at the Senior Bowl and went, "That kid right there is painfully slow." Then I saw him. Then I saw the actual 40 and went, "He might be slower than I thought he was." And he's got good hands and he's a slot receiver, decent route runner. I think he probably still gets drafted, but it'll be really, really late. And I'll go ahead and you didn't ask this, but I'm going to answer it even though you didn't ask it. Isaiah Bond,
okay.
If he gets selected, I'll be shocked.
As will I.
Now, I'll be honest with you. I was thinking that before any of the charges came out or anything like that. I thought he was going to struggle to be above a 5 anyway. He was 167, I think, on my board. And I just straight up took him off the board.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, not going to do it. Andreas Pinckney asked a good question about wide receivers. He said, what's going on with Andrew Armstrong? I think he has risen up the board. Frankly, I think both Arkansas wide receivers. Tesla now, for me, he might go in the back end of day 2. Because he is the definition of a big slot. Andrew Armstrong, on the other hand, plays on the outside. And he's done a lot to like in this process. Plus, I went back and watched. Andrew Armstrong's one of the weirdest players I think I've ever seen. He had 1,100 and some odd yards. 1 touchdown. How does that happen? You would think you would do better than that by accident. Like somebody just fell down and you went, hey, look, end zone.
Go ask Trey McBride. He'll tell you.
Yeah, that's a good grab. Oh, now I want to play that on the opposite side. Now I want to find a guy that scored way too many touchdowns and he didn't mean to score any of them.
Nick Westbrook-Akina.
That's an NFL example. I was talking about a college football example.
Oh, a college football guy. I can't think of one off the top of my head.
I'm trying to think of a receiver I really don't like that I know scored a bunch of touchdowns. I'm going to stick with Xavier Restrepo.
Okay, there you go.
We're throwing shade at him. I can't believe he found a way to get behind 11 dudes. I would think nose tackles would be tracking him down.
It's just when I hear that, he ran so slow at the combine and his workout didn't look good and blah, blah, blah. Why didn't we see that at Miami? The talent level wasn't that bad in the ACC, was it?
It wasn't good.
That Xavier Restrepo just looked like a world beater.
Oh, he didn't look like a world
secondary
beater.
Players.
He didn't look like a world beater.
He was pretty good.
He was a 4 for me before he ran slowly. I mean, I was putting him in the 3rd because I thought he was a higher level slot. But I mean, Restrepo last year, he had 1,100 yards, 16 yards a carry. But that's also kind of biased because he had a 77-yard touchdown in one of those games. He had a couple big shots in these games. I mean, so in 1 year, he had a 40-yard touchdown, a 66-yard touchdown, a 63, a 77, a 50, and a 40. He did all of that and still managed to only have 1,100 yards, which should tell you a lot. Because I got news for you. Those touchdowns are not happening in the NFL. You're not that slow and scoring 70-yarders in the league. You'll get tracked down by linebackers like you're sitting still. As slow as he is, that will look like something out of Nat Geo. It'll look like a cheetah chasing down a gazelle in the Serengeti like, oh, no. Oh, he got it. Oh, and it's not good. Oh, kids don't look at it. It's bad.
Yeah. A couple other wide receiver names that we haven't talked about. Antoine Wells. What do you think about his draft stock? Where's his window?
He's right on the line of draftable for me. And look, the tape before Ole Miss, I liked him a lot. And like I said, he's gone down slowly over the process. Contested catch rate was terrible last year. Terrible in a pick and pop offense. I mean, he's got some decent size. He's not a great route runner. He's not. I don't see that dog that I saw at South Carolina. It was like he just went away. That I'm willing to take like a 6th, 7th round flyer on. I'm not going to invest capital in it.
Yep. All right, and the only other pass catcher that I had on the list here was Gunnar Helm.
Gunnar Helm he's one of the hardest ones for me to narrow down. I know he's going to fall from where we had him. He sprained his ankle at the combine when he ran 40. I did not want to believe that because he ran it again. And I couldn't wrap my brain around any of this. Then he basically posted a picture and said, nope, I screwed myself up something brutal. Mm-hmm. He was a little slower on film. He can't block to save his life. But I just don't know where he goes. Because I think he can be a pass catcher in the league. He's a big slot. Mm-hmm. But the thing you got to remember about the big slot position, how many times have I said that during this process? 4,000? Right. There's only 32 spots for that, really, in the NFL. Now, if you're going to have 2 on your roster, which is kind of untoward, because the last guy, if you're a big slot, it probably means you're not very fast. That's why you wind up there. So that means you probably can't play special teams. Gunnar Helm can't block. So I just don't know where he lands. I feel like he's going to be a number 2 tight end for somebody. I just can't find a spot that really makes any sense.
Not a blocker, huh? I don't feel like he's going to have much of a prospect. The hands are fine, but you can't survive on that kind of speed, right? 'Cause he's not very fast.
He's not fast, but he is kind of crafty in how he runs his routes. He was good after the catch. Look, it's one thing. So I'm glad you said that way. Mm-hmm. It's one thing to be 5'10" and run a 4.85. It's another to be 6'5", 250 and run a 4.85. Because the first one's what Restrepo is. The second one's what Gunnar Helm is. Because at the end of the day, at 6'5", 250, I can still take you down in the red zone and go, hey, go win.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, go win. I'm going to put you in the slot. Go win against this little tiny corner. And if the safety comes over to help on you, I'm going to duck my number one receiver underneath him, and he's going to be open. I could use that. I don't have much call for, hey, let's take this little feller that the three coaches could outrun. Let's take him down here in the red zone, see if we can't get him a touch or two. Play some football.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville Cram Day before the 2025 NFL Draft. We'll switch over to the defensive side of the ball next, talk about some names that you know, but you ain't heard a lot in this process.
Living with chronic pain is like trying to get comfortable on a
Clear.
Nothing feels good. And forget trying to do the things you enjoy this spring. Golfing, hiking, tennis. You're just trying to get by. The medical pros at QC Kinetics right here in Asheville and Greenville are on the case and focused to finally get you the relief you need. They've already treated tens
One
of
of these days I'm
thousands
going
of
to
patients
remember that
around
if
the
I hit
country
the cut
with
scene, I
regenerative
do have to
treatments
hit
that help
another
calm
button
that
or it just
debilitating
comes right
joint
back
pain in
to
your
us.
knees, hips, shoulders, and back. With QC Kinetics,
Gonna remember
the
that
science
one of
is
these days.
solid. They give you your life back without surgery, without drugs, and without any downtime. Curious if you'd be a candidate for these treatments? No problem. The consultation is totally free, and they're happy to take a look and see if they can help you finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now at 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. QC Kinetics.
The championship is back in the Bay for the first time in 40 years.
On the new limited podcast series, Dub Dynasty, we hear from head coach Steve Kerr on how Steph Curry almost never even joined the Warriors.
In fact, I thought we had a draft day deal to end up getting him to Phoenix.
For the entire behind-the-scenes story of Golden State's incredible 10-year run, open your free iHeartRadio app, search Dub Dynasty, and listen now.
Looking to buy or sell in Western North Carolina? At Clarissa Sells WNC, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County, selling over 100 homes in 2024. We represent both buyers and sellers, and with a personalized approach to meet your needs.
At Clarissa Sells WNC, real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. Call me today, Clarissa Marshall, at 828-774-6343. When it comes to real estate, we're here for what matters most, you.
Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in Asheville has two things that all Sportsocracy fans crave: bold flavors and big portions. Oh, yeah, and they've got the balls. Bear's famous bear balls are packed with mac and cheese, pulled pork, cornbread, and deep fried and then topped with bacon and cheese sauce. This is the place to be. Live music on Saturdays and the first Sunday of every month. They partner with the Guitar Bar to host Mr. Jimmy's Barbecue Blues. Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville and South Asheville.
Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports have teamed up under a new local owner to serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports can customize whatever you, your team, or your local group may need with high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving. Visit mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com. That's mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com for your local one-stop custom apparel shops.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville, introducing you to this month's Parks Community Heroes, Corey and Kristen Short and the entire team at Silverados, who converted their music venue in Black Mountain into a donation and distribution zone in the wake of Hurricane Helene. Corey and his team founded Valley Strong Disaster Relief, dedicated to providing essential support to our neighbors in need. Nominate your Parks Community Hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
I've never felt that drop more than today. It's been that kind of show here in the Sportsocracy.
I am proud of this show. As I am with all of the content we put out.
Yes. The run-up to the 2025 NFL Draft, the Eagles Living the Dream Tour, hitting the road once again for the final time in this season of the Sportsocracy, which will be the end of Season 5. We'll be picking up Season 6 after the summer when football comes back. In the meantime, who knows what we'll get into over the summer. You saw what today's program was like. Who knows where this thing's going to go.
We're going to take some long weekends, I can tell you that much.
Some of the players that we haven't really talked about in depth in this process, but names that you might know. Jeremy, on the defensive side of the ball, well, go ahead and get this guy out of the way since we are a Tar Heel station. What's Kamen Rucker doing right now? Does he have prospects to go late in this draft?
I don't think he'll go as late as you may think. I know that Trevor Sikkema is higher on him than I think anybody else I've seen. And I'm looking at I'm trying to find where he is on his board right now. Because I know he had a draft. So Sikkema's got Kamen Rucker at 138.
Okay.
Which
so
that's a little
round?
higher than me. I have a draftable grade on him too.
Mm-hmm.
I have Rucker. He's 164 for me.
Okay.
I think he'll
that's
go
not
probably, I'll say probably late in round 5. The size is what kills him. Because he's built like an outside linebacker, but he doesn't really play like one.
Mm-hmm. More of a hand in the dirt, undersized for a hand in the dirt kind of guy.
I like the motor on him a lot. But, yeah, he will get drafted. It's just a question of where.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you he's one of the names when I put out mock drafts, I get a lot of fans of certain teams. The Cardinals are one of them. There's been a few others that I'll take an edge that I have ahead of him, and I'll get comments of, wish you had taken Kamen Rucker there.
Mm-hmm.
Surprised me a little bit through the process.
Okay. Dude with an 88% pass rush win rate is going to turn some heads.
Oh, no doubt.
Any talent evaluators. So Kamen Rucker, you're saying 4th to 5th round?
I think going in the 4th round, you're asking a lot.
Okay.
Because, look, there are a lot of guys in this class that had pretty solid pass rush win rates. Rucker's obviously one of them. But then you start getting into body type and into where do you play and things like that. And where I run into kind of an issue with Rucker is, so he's only 250 pounds. I don't know what he would have run. I know what I projected him at. Mm-hmm. Did he run at Carolina's Pro Day?
I am not sure.
I don't think he did.
The breakdown of that.
I don't think he did, but I'm going to check just to be sure. I know he didn't run at the Combine. And I saw that as a,
As suspicious that he didn't?
Yeah, because I'm suspect to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing a lot of 4.73, so I'm thinking he did run at the Pro Day and it was a 4.73.
Okay.
Because I'm also seeing the old time that somebody had at 5.13, which that's even lower than I thought it would be. So it runs into a problem. If you're going to be a 3-4 outside linebacker, which is what he's basically built to be, you got to be faster than that. But I think he can be a situational guy in an even front.
This is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The draft is coming up, but this is a very eventful next few days here, just in the life of the world, because we've got a huge holiday coming up this weekend. You guys throw down for Easter at your place?
I mean, Easter is usually right before. This is actually closer to the draft than I'm used to it being. My parents will do stuff. if I can make it, I make it. If I can't, I can't.
Yeah. I mean, always we have the usual, Spencer family get together. We'll have somebody will cook a ham, and if we're, if they're feeling froggy, Dad and my uncle will cook up a lamb. They like lamb for Easter, but I've never had barbecue for Easter dinner, and it's actually something that I can't get out of my head right now. You can have your Easter dinner catered by Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue, which means you can have some of the best meat in town just handed to you. You can order now, and you need to do it 72 hours prior to when you need it. You can order it for a cold pickup on Saturday or a hot pickup on Sunday. Now, you don't want to even reheat the food. You can have hot food at the ready for you on Sunday. Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue, they've got an entire Easter feast catering menu. They've got an Easter feast laid out with mac and cheese and mashed potatoes and the whole smoked ham, all of the fixings. Not a bad price. You feed 8 people for $200. They've got the little Easter feast. If you're not feeding the entire family, just 2 of you at the house, they can take care of that for you as well. Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue, you can go to bearsbbq.com/holiday, or you can just email them, holidays@bearsbbq.com, and order your Easter feast today. Again, they're offering cold pickup on Saturday and hot food pickup on Sunday for the holiday. 135 Cox Avenue in downtown Asheville. BearsBBQ.com, the official barbecue of the Sportsocracy.
ESPN Asheville, your mountain weather forecast.
You're clear.
Winds gusting with a wind advisory this afternoon. Winds could gust 40 to 45 miles per hour.
We got
some
2
sunshine,
super
though,
chats
60
coming back,
degrees. Tonight, a colder night.
Roger that.
Your sky 40, some spots in the 30s, and with that breeze around tomorrow morning, it could be a heavier jacket. Sunny and breezy in the afternoon, 60. Thursday, a lot better, sunny, 70. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Robert Half. At Robert Half, they found...
We'll do the super chats, and then the last ones of these, we'll skip crimes.
That's why their recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI work quickly to find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
They still got a good 5 or 6 players on this list.
This is built on speed and trust. That's why the Lowe's Pro Desk is here to get you what you need the moment you need it. We'll help you plan your project, calculate your materials, and pivot when your job takes an unexpected turn. And with our pro-only checkout and dedicated pro parking, you have what you need to tackle your job and be back on the job in no time. Just visit us at the Pro Desk. Lowe's knows pros. We help. You save.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you? I just wanted to request a late checkout, please. Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours. Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours. Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
The new iHeart app just looks better.
The best feature of a car radio on the app.
It's the presets.
Super easy.
And thank you for keeping it free.
Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeart Radio app today.
Buying or selling a home doesn't have to be stressful. Let me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your local real estate expert, guide you every step of the way. Whether you're searching for your dream home, looking to sell quickly, or exploring investment opportunities, I've got the experience and the tools to get you the best deal possible. Call me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty at 828-774-6343. Let's make your real estate dreams a reality. I'm your trusted realtor. I'm making moves and making dreams come true.
Welcome to Harvest Farms, where the best organic or natural products are waiting for you, where the fields are filled with flavorful delights, and every bite is backed with the highest quality and attention. This is a place of affordable organic adventure, where freshness reigns supreme, that can only be found at Ingles. Harvest Farms Organics. You'll love what's inside.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks community heroes, like Eric, who hosted the football team to support their neighbors and begin the cleanup efforts, like Jeff and Chris, who led a fleet of Ford commercial vehicles throughout the night, delivering supplies with emergency services to all corners of the county and first responders. Nominate your community hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, ain't God?
It is the Sportsocracy back here on ESPN Asheville, coming to you live from the Ingles studio at ESPN Draft Nerd, coming to you live from the NFLDraft.net Mullet Manor. Welcome back into the show. It is a cram session day here as we are catching up on some of the names that you know, but we haven't heard a lot about in the Draftmas process. Before we get back into the and wrap up the list here, we got a couple of super chats to take care of.
He said, don't know if you already talked about this, but he sent me something about Travis Hunter that we talked about in Outside. That Travis Hunter basically said he would rather quit football than only be able to play on one side. And I'm not going to lie to you. It's so funny to me that we have Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter in the same draft, and they have some of the same personality issues, but from everything I saw and everything I've been told, they could not be more different as people. Shedeur's very flashy, very egotistical. I'll leave it at that.
I mean, he's Deion's kid.
I don't see that out of Travis Hunter, though. I don't think he's egotistical. I think he's competitive as hell. And he looks at this class and goes, there is not a one receiver in this class, and I can be one. And I'm not going to lie to you. I don't disagree with him. I have said this more than once. He would be my number one corner in this class if he had never played receiver a down in his life.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Tedero McMillan would be really close in terms of who would be the number one receiver, and I'm not sure it wouldn't be Hunter. The problem is I just can't see him that way because he didn't. This will not be a popular take, but it's true. None of those guys at Colorado were coached particularly well. And it's really making it hard for me to love them as draft prospects. Shedeur played for Deion, who was one of the best corners of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Shedeur was coached terribly. The receivers were all coached terribly. The offensive line was almost comical. You can bring in as many former players and as many former NFL guys as you want. That was a horribly coached team. And if there is any hope for Shedeur, it's that, the coaching that he gets in the NFL can't possibly be this bad. Now, you clip that, whatever you want. Watch the tape. It speaks for itself.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then we got one from Wheels for Meals WNC. Future Hall of Fame players go 1 year after they should have retired, and they stay 2 years too long.
That is true in certain instances. More often than not, it's New York Jets where future Hall of Fame players go for 1 year after they should have retired 3 years ago.
This, of course, a reaction to the news that Tyron Smith has decided to hang it up after a pretty tough year with the New York Jets this past season.
I would love to see a stat of how many future Hall of Famers last year was spent with the Jets when they spent 10-plus years somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's got to be staggering. The Jets have to be 5-1 ahead of any other team in the league.
Names you might know, but you ain't heard a lot in the NFL draft process. What happened to these guys? Haven't heard too much lately about Princely Umanmielen. I know we've discussed him as, okay, well, he's, a pretty good prospect that could be picked, but I haven't heard, has he been just deathly silent throughout the draft process? Because I haven't heard anything about him.
No, what got
since the end of the season.
What got him my laying is that he threw up a pretty, I'll say, modest 40 time. And one of the things that I've learned in my years covering the draft is that people don't dig. They don't dig into the workouts and the numbers that really matter. So he ran a 4.72. Okay. He also came in at least an inch taller than you thought he was. He was only 244 pounds, so he was a little light. So the 4.72 scares you a little bit until you dig deeper and realize that his 10-yard split was a 1.62. Would you like to hear the list of guys that actually ran faster than 1.62 in their 10-yard split?
Yes, I would.
It's Fidel Diggs, Tyler Barron, Ethan Downs, who is, I'm not going to lie to you, he's shocked me because he's almost 270 pounds. Downs was at a 1.67. He was Umanmielen was faster than Landon Jackson. He was faster than Ja Joyner, who I think is a stand-up guy all day. He was faster than Antoine Powell Ryland, who I love. The split is enough to make up for the 40 time, but the 40 time's sexy. So you throw up that 4.72 and people go, oh, he's slow. Well, not necessarily. Jay Higgins, it's the same problem with him. He threw up a horrifically bad 40 time, but his split wasn't bad at all. That typically means you got a guy that's got better short area burst. Maybe he doesn't have long speed, but how many times am I going to look to Princely Umanmielen to run a 40?
Right? Do I need my edge rusher to run 40 yards to make a tackle?
No,
I need
him. I need him to get off the ball quickly, which I have always thought he does. Watching the tape, and then I see that 10-yard split. That's short area quickness, which is what I want out of an edge rusher. I think he's just not been talked about because of that 40 time.
Okay, all right. Is he still in the top of the second round area, or do you think he's a later in day 2 pick?
I'll say he goes 50 to 75. It depends on the teams that you got to understand something. The further down the draft you get, the wider the range of outcomes get. So when you get in the second round, now it's not, oh, he's going to go in the top 10 or he's going to go 10 to 20. No, it's he could go as high as 44, but he could also fall if you get the wrong group of teams that are right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I still have the grade on him did not change for me. He stayed the same throughout the process. He's still the same guy for me.
Okay. All right.
I also probably changed grades less through the underwear Olympics era, less than anybody else, which is funny because I go to all of them. Somebody asked me that the other day. If you don't change your rankings that much, then why do you go? Well, because I want to see it up close and personal.
Mm-hmm.
Because I learn more watching a guy in those practices than I do watching those practices on television.
Sometimes you have to change your mind on how things go at those workouts. A couple of Ohio State defenders, Jack Sawyer and JTT. I would have thought throughout this process that those two guys would get about as many headlines as they did during the college football season. But that hasn't happened. Why?
With Sawyer, it's because he runs like he's got a 2x4 in his keister. He's about as athletic as a wet sneeze. And people don't look, I just finished his scouting report 12 hours ago.
Uh-huh.
I comp him to Sam Hubbard that played for the Cincinnati Bengals. There's just nothing sexy about him whatsoever. I know he's going to play in a four-man front. I know he's going to play for a long time. I think he will be good, probably not ever great. And the more I've watched him on film, the less I think he can do anything else. The problem with both of those guys is that they spent 97+% of their time outside the tackle, which really shoehorns them into one position. JTT's not a great pass rusher. And look, if you're not sexy and you're not throwing up great sack numbers and you're not a guy that projects to throw up great sack numbers, you tend to fall. You know, because we get into the process and you see a guy like, I'll just give you an example. If you compare college career and you compare tape on Femi Oladejo from UCLA and JT Tuimoloau, it's not even close. Tuimoloau is exponentially better. But then you look at Oladejo, and he only played edge for 10 games. He was an off-ball linebacker that was so bad in coverage that they had to move him to edge. And then he goes to edge, and he was fantastic. There's an upside there that I don't have in JTT. There's an upside there that I don't have in Jack Sawyer. I think the same thing with Landon Jackson. There's a safe floor with Landon Jackson that I don't have with Oladejo, but there's no upside. He is what he is. I've seen it for many years now. So those guys kind of get washed, and they all end up in that 50 to 100 range. And teams typically tend to be pretty satisfied that they took them.
Well, I mean, it's just as you said, you know, the ceiling may not be super high, but the floor is. The floor of what you know you're getting is pretty high.
And as time has gone on, more teams are looking at the floor as that's a third-round pick instead of a second. Mm-hmm. When I first started doing this, safe floor guys went in the second round. Now there's so many players that do have a safe floor, but then have that upside. All right, I'll use the example I just gave you.
Another one.
Say it again.
I was going to say Lathan Ransom is another one from Ohio State that I thought we'd hear more about through this
Lathan's
process.
Funny. So Lathan is one of those that I would actually agree. I'm not shocked on JTT or Sawyer. I mean, you could attest to this. I had them in the second round, JTT especially. I had them in the second round long before anybody else did. Sawyer, I took a little bit longer to come around, but once I came around, he fell like a rock. Lathan Ransom, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't understand. I don't understand what it is that people don't like about him outside of, I mean, he's a box safety.
Right, he's not a coverage safety.
No, he's a guy that's just going to knock people's heads off. And if you don't have that deep coverage guy, then it's kind of hard to engage him. I just keep looking at Ransom, who I believe I have higher than most people. Of him, Xavier Watts. By the way, this is one of the reasons that I haven't gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs on Nick Ebenworry. I look at Lathan Ransom. I look at Caleb Ransaw, who I like a lot.
Kid from Tulane.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I look at Andrew Makuba, and I look at Xavier Watts. I think every dude I just said is so unbelievably safe. Mm-hmm. That why are you losing it over Ebenworry? So Ebenworry has all of the athletic measurables. Okay, so do I. I mean, I'm 6'5", and I can still move to a point for 6'5". I'm nowhere near the safety of the last four guys that I just said, and they are so much safer, it is pathetic. And they're all going to go a round or two rounds later than Ebenworry.
Alfred Collins, the big dude from Texas. I cannot stop watching tape of this guy.
His problem is his weight.
I mean, he is a big boy.
Well, his weight scares people because he showed up as a defensive end at Texas, and then just over time it seemed like he gained 15 pounds every year. Right. Then he wound up as a defensive tackle, and he's been a defensive tackle for a handful of years.
Mm-hmm.
But then he came to the combine, and you get an official weight on him, and he's 332. He had a 26-inch vert and an 8-foot broad jump. I want you to think about what I just said. He had an 8-foot broad jump.
Mm-hmm.
You have an 8-foot broad jump.
Yeah, he's a big old boy. That's a lot of meat to be slinging across the football field.
Desmond Watson is 400-plus pounds, and he almost had an 8-foot broad jump.
Yeah.
That's disconcerting. And so you have issues with the way. I mean, look, I like him a lot. I got him in the top 100. I think he goes in the second day. But I can tell you that is one of those names that I hear people say, and I go, I get it. When you watch the tape on him, I get why you like him so much. There's a but that you're not thinking about. Do you understand how bad you have to eat to play? I mean, this is sheer facts. This is not anything I've been told about Alfred Collins. This is sheer fact. For you to do as much cardio as you do, working in practices, in just your workouts themselves, in games, to stay at the same weight over the course of the year, and it sometimes get bigger, and you gain 10 to 15 pounds every single year, that's something as an NFL team I'm going, Texas has one of the best strength and conditioning programs in the country. Why do you have so much bad weight on your frame? There's only one answer to that. It's because you eat poorly.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other reason that happens. And look, there's several guys. Deion Walker, he's got that problem. Omar Norman Lott had that problem at one point because he's a shorter guy, so he can't carry as much weight. Cam Jackson from Florida, he had that problem. It's really common with guys that play on the interior. And one of the things that scares teams about the big dancing bear, there's a reason I use that term so often. You're only going to be that athletic for so long. So whatever that age is in your head, let's say it's 28 years old. Well, Alfred Collins is already almost 24. So how long is he going to be the, quote, dancing bear that does these things where he's so agile at that weight? And will he keep that? Will he maintain that if he gains weight? If he gains more, let's say he's 345 in a year. Is he still a guy that I'm looking at? Now he's a bigger dude with long arms. That's really all I got.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. Very few, I won't say nobody, but very few cover the NFL draft like we do, and our next live show here on ESPN Asheville will be from the draft.
In
9
Wisconsin.
days from today. Coming to you live from Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, next Thursday afternoon. Tomorrow here on ESPN Asheville, you will have Atlanta Braves baseball. Monday and Tuesday of next week, we'll take a couple of days for the holiday this weekend to prepare for the big trip. Monday and Tuesday of next week will be the last mock draft from Flostradamus Jeremy Greene. The first 3 rounds of the draft will be covered on Monday and Tuesday, and then Braves again on Wednesday, and then boom, before you know it, we'll be live from Green Bay for the 2025 NFL Draft. Don't forget to join us tomorrow on the YouTube stream. House of Reprehensibles only will have access to tomorrow's live stream, which will be the final mock draft. We're almost there, Jeremy. So close.
I need a nap, but
NFL,
I'm making it. I'm going to get to Green Bay. We're going to do this. It's going to be awesome, and then I'm going to hibernate for a month.
NFLdraft.net, that is your source for the latest prospect rankings. Make it your homepage. You only got a couple of more days to plan for the 2025 draft.
ESPN Asheville.
And we're clear.
Your mountain weather forecast.
Winds gusting with a wind advisory this afternoon. Winds could gust 40 to 45
Yeehaw,
miles per
Meemaw.
hour. Get some sunshine, though, 60 degrees. Tonight, a colder night runs through. Clear sky, 40, some spots in the 30s. And with that breeze around tomorrow morning, it could be a heavier jacket. Sunny and breezy in the afternoon, 60. Thursday, a lot better, sunny, 70. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Staging.
This report is sponsored by Jimmy's Automotive Center.
When it comes to getting your car or truck serviced and repaired, there's one name in Asheville you need to remember: Jimmy's Automotive. Jimmy's can get your vehicle back in tip-top shape, and you don't have to wait around while they do it. They've got a loaner car program. Check them out online at jimmysauto.com.
Bonus bucks. Bonus bucks. Once you win $1,000 in bonus bucks, you'll have more money to use on your fantasy leagues. Bonus bucks. The winning happens every weekday, right here
on ESPN Asheville.
Looking for a rewarding career with stability and purpose? The NC Department of Adult Correction is hiring correctional officers statewide with a $10,000 sign-on bonus, competitive pay, and benefits. Visit dac.nc.gov/co jobs.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
How do you spot the all-new Nissan Rogue Rock Creek? Here's a hint. It's got all-terrain tires, a tubular roof rack you can't miss, and it's tough inside and out with lava red detailing. You'll also find it in its natural habitat, climbing mountains, attacking rugged trails, and never backing down from any adventure. The first ever Nissan Rogue Rock Creek.
Intelligent all-wheel drive cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions. Always secure cargo. Heavy loading of the vehicle with cargo, especially on the roof, will affect the handling and stability of the vehicle.
Missing football? Nonsense. The season never ends in the Sportsocracy.
This is like the spark we need.
There is no off-season with these guys.
And we drafted everything.
Weekdays at noon on ESPN Asheville.
We just love football.
Heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
Looking to buy or sell in Asheville? At Clarissa Sells WNC with eXp Realty, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County. Give us a call, 828-774-6343. We're here for what matters most, you.
At Ingalls, we know that fresh means local. The best ingredients don't come from a world away. They come from your own backyard. From the farms we support, to the stores we love, to the tables you treasure. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
From the Ingalls studio, WPEK Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, W225CJ Candler, the #1 preset in your car, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.